Everybody, we are officially back. Sports Weekly is back. It is blazing hot here in the Bay Area. That's why you see me, channeling my inner Pat McAfee dressed in a tank top. But we're going to have a fiery, amazing show today. Welcome in to the best damn midday show in television. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of stuff to get into. My boy, Tyler Hero, this is the last day that I can rock this. My boy, Tyler Hero, he's no longer a Miami Heat. Rip to that. The Knicks are NBA champions. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would ever see that. We've got Austin Reaves cementing what I've been saying for many years now, and that is we've got a new star in Hollywood. We've got Giannis Antetokounmpo finally getting traded. LaMelo getting traded. Trades are just flying left and right, man. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's crank it up. The best damn show in midday television comes your way right now. What's up, everybody? Once again, this is Isaiah Leong, aka not the Asian Skip Bayless, but the scientist. That's right. I had to make that my nickname after I got the whole Austin Reaves thing right and the Brock Purdy thing right, because these are the two guys that I said in the early stages, in their infancies of their playing career, I was like, y'all gotta watch out for these guys. Y'all gotta watch out for these guys because, these are the guys that are going to be studs in the very next future. And here we are, man. Brock Purdy, $250 million man. Austin Reaves, max contract, man. It's a great day. That's why I got a beer right here. We're going to celebrate throughout this entire program. But I want to welcome in my co-host, James Gonzalez here. He's back. What's going on, James? I don't know if you can see me. I don't know. Can you see me? It's kind of frozen on his end right now. But like I told the viewers earlier, I'm channeling my inner Pat McAfee. I think James is dealing with some tech issues right now, but so we'll just keep it on me at this moment. But yeah, I think James is having some tech issues, sadly, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of trades in the NBA. The Knicks are NBA champions. The NBA draft has come and went. We've got the Brandon Sorsby stuff. We've got Mike Baaaacck going to the Edmonton Oilers. We've got baseball. We've got a lot of stuff to get into, ladies and gentlemen. So be like me. Grab yourself a beer and grab some popcorn, settle down in your chair, and tune in because we've got a great show for you here today, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys like what you guys are watching, go ahead and you know what to do. Go ahead and like, subscribe, follow the MI6 Sports Network here on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as YouTube. Let's try again with James. I don't know what is going on his end right now. Do we got you, James? Do we got you? Do we got you? Okay? Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me fine or no?
It's very choppy on your side. Your side is really choppy.
Is it? Crap. Let's see. Oh, God. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Know-It-All.
So it's not on my end then?
It's probably James's internet, sadly.
James, why don't you come back on and we'll try to do this again? But
God damn it, technology!
I know. But you can hear me fine, right? There's no choppiness.
Yeah, your end's fine. I think it's just James's end, sadly.
All right. Looks like it's tank top season, isn't it? You got Callan rocking
These
his.
aren't tank tops; they're basketball jerseys, you moron.
Basketball jerseys, exactly. By the way, so Callan, how are you doing on this midday?
I'm only here to pile drive you about Brendan Sorsby.
That's not going to happen until like an hour into the program. We'll try to keep it short, PTI style today, by the way.
Yeah, and it's not the midday either, sir. We're in drive time right now. Figure it out.
Drive time, yeah. Best show in drive time television. Anyway,
ETB would like to have a word with you, sir. Oh wait, he got fired from there on 2 different occasions.
How are you doing? How's life?
Get moving. You're wasting people's time. Come on, let's go.
All right, let's get into it as we wait for James. Let's get into the NBA Finals. I know we haven't been on in a very long time, so do a little quick recap about that. The New York Knicks, I don't think I've ever thought I was going to ever say that. The New York Knicks took down the San Antonio Spurs in 5 games. Do we have you now? Do we have you, James?
Yeah, you got him?
Yeah, we got you. At least I know.
Okay.
Appreciate Callan, by the way, for hopping on for a little bit. The New York.
I'm here the whole time. I don't have anything to do until Team USA plays at 7 o'clock tonight.
All right, James, I'll give it to you to start the program. I already went through the entire introductory bit and everything.
All right, let's get to the NBA segments. And you know what has happened 2 weeks ago already? I guess we're going to finish talking about it if we ever did. The Knicks take down the Spurs in Game 5. Capture their first NBA title in 53 years. The city went crazy. Gotham, whatever. Jalen Brunson was named Finals MVP. The Spurs led in 4 of these games, and by double digits, I want to say too, and let this series slip away. The inexperience just showed. I'll let anyone go, but man, it was one of those series where you kind of felt cheated because you want to see the Spurs kind of continue, but the Knicks end up winning and just break that drought, and I'm happy for some of those folks there. Isaiah, I guess if you wanted to go first, go on ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say this. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would sit here today and say that the New York Knicks are NBA champions. I don't think I ever thought I would ever say that because they were the most dysfunctional franchise, not only in basketball, but in all of sports for I want to say a good 20 years, maybe. Every time something stupid happened, you looked at them. Every time something laughable happened, you looked at them. So, and then a lot of people were calling for James Dolan to sell the team, and he was one of the worst owners in all of sports. So for them to turn it around, I mean, it's just amazing. And it shows that, hey, if you make the right hires, and you get the right people in the building and you are smart with the contracts, I mean, I think you can definitely turn it around. So I guess that's the message, that all hope is not lost. But in terms of this series, it came down to, like you said, it came down to experience over, lack. It came down to experience, basically. The Knicks, even though they hadn't been to a championship, they've been to a lot of conference finals and, a lot of the playoffs years before. So they had the experience of what to do, late in the game, when they were down big, especially in Game 4, they didn't quit. They just kept battling and battling and battling. And then the Spurs just kept shooting themselves in the foot or just bricking a bunch of shots and turning the ball over. And they just panicked when the game got close. So I think you really saw that experience matters in the NBA. The Spurs are going to be fine. They're going to take their wounds. They're going to lick them over this summer and they will be fine. They'll be back. But congrats to New York. I do want to say this. I don't think Brunson should have won MVP. I think that OG Anunoby deserved it better than Brunson just because of what he did in the series, from just clutch 3-point shots to that amazing tip in when Jalen Brunson bricked that in Game 4, to the block that he had on De'Aaron Fox in Game 4. Because, fellas, here's the thing. If the Knicks don't get those contributions from OG Anunoby in Game 4, they lose that game, and this series is 2-2 going back to San Antonio for Game 5 with the Spurs having all the momentum, and who knows where we're sitting here today. So I think OG should have won MVP. I mean, it's called the most valuable player for a reason, and OG I felt like was more valuable than Jalen Brunson in this series, but Mitchell Robinson, clutch rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns played great, which I thought was never going to happen. Landry Shamet with contributions there. Jordan Clarkson had some big shots as well. Jalen Brunson put the team on his back when he needed to, but it's just crazy that we're sitting here a couple weeks later. The Knicks are freaking NBA champs. I mean, it blows my mind.
Some corrections, omissions. I was trying to think. Karl Anthony Towns had a good first 2 games of the series, but not really the other 3 games, especially the last game. He didn't really show up. And then I was thinking about the New York Knicks. Like, since from 2002 to about 2010, they didn't really do much, right? And then there was a stretch from 2016 to about 2021. Then they got Brunson and everything went well after that. They make the trade for Cad and OG Anunoby. But Callan, what did you think about the NBA Finals and the New York Knicks finally winning a title over the young Spurs?
Yeah, maybe he got cheated a little bit. I said San Antonio would win in 7, but I think what it comes down to was coaching, along with how the youth showed up at the worst possible times. I mean, did anybody here, maybe minus myself, really think Mike Brown from the University of San Diego in a small market city like here would be the guy to lead the Knicks to the promised land? I don't think so. And I think that, I know that a lot of people were, even myself, were like, wow, you're going to throw Tom Thibodeau out 1 round away from the NBA Finals. And Mike Brown, who was not even on the main radar of being the head coach of the team, is the guy who wins the NBA Finals for New York. And he already had all the prior championships won with the Spurs when he got hired by Popovich underneath his former college coach of Hank Egan, who was an assistant with the Spurs. Then he won the 3 as the associate coach with Golden State. But then you look at all the other head coaching stops he had, both times in Cleveland, getting run out of town there, run out of town by the Lakers in 2011, 2012. And who would have thunk, though, again, that it'd be Mike Brown being the guy who leads the Knicks of all the franchises that he's been a part of, leading the Knicks, who, again, we know very well had all the viral moments of the draft day bust like Porzingis and, whatever. And, in a way, it's always like, oh, it's our year, it's our year, it's our year. And they finally delivered, but with not probably the right coaching hire that people thought they should have made, though. So I think that's the case. I think it did boil down that Mike Brown, as Isaiah somehow, some way said, it came down to coaching. It came down to the adjustment factors, and I think also came down to the Spurs being way ahead of the curve when it comes to getting out of the rebuild and where they are right now, getting to the finals, this quickly, with Wemby being a part of it. But I also think that it was, I think I called them the cardiac Knicks, I think, or the comeback Knicks is what I called them, on ETB with how they went about those comeback victories, though. And obviously the 29-point comeback will live in infamy in both New York and even in San Antonio, where, that was where the title was won and lost. But I honestly, fellas, I say that this goes to coaching more than it goes to experience in the playoffs across the board, if you ask me.
I mentioned before the series, I said, I think the Knicks will win in 5. They just have more experience. The problem with Thibodeau, it felt like that he kept his rotation short. Knicks players were playing so many minutes in the game when they should have been resting. And you kind of saw the right progress happen here. With the Spurs, yeah, they'll be back. But this is more in Oklahoma City. Choking in the Western Conference Finals. In the beginning, I think I had OKC over the Knicks in October in 5 games, and just OKC couldn't make it. But it's a great deal for the Knicks. You see people united in New York in many ways. Just a lot of lot of monkeys off people's backs last couple of weeks. Let's go to the second topic here. The Giannis saga with the Bucks is finally over. We will always have what was it, Bucks and 6 though over Isaiah. Just remember that. We will always have that.
I don't even have to be part of his network anymore to still have Bucks and 6 on, as on my resume when I left this network 5 years ago. You're welcome, Lee Young.
That was fun. But Giannis was traded in a massive trade on Monday to the Miami Heat. In exchange, Milwaukee receives a pretty good package, in my opinion. Tyler Hero, the homeboy from Wisconsin, Jaime Jaquez Jr., who he had a great rookie year, but not so much a sophomore year. He kind of slipped in a bit there. Khalil Ware, he's just young and upcoming, but you've seen little glimpses of him. And then Kasparis Yakuchonis, thank you. And then 3 first-round picks, including Miami's 13th pick in the draft already, and then 2 pick swaps as well. And I believe there's a couple of second-rounders in there as well. But Isaiah, let's go to you first here. As always, the Giannis trade, we knew it was going to happen, right? Eventually, 3 years of bickering and like, oh, well, hey, I don't know if I want to be here. I think, they're not doing anything for me anymore here. Just so much of that from Giannis already coming up that it just seemed like Miami was going to be the spot for Giannis since they kind of cleared out Jimmy Butler and they had a spot ready for a super max player. But what do you think, Isaiah?
First of all, I want to say this. Let's give a hand to Shams of ESPN because he had every detail of this the last couple of years spot on. I mean, there were people on social media ripping him and saying he was spreading fake news and stuff. He had everything right from the get-go, and so credit to him. As far as this trade is concerned, it's not a surprise that he was going to get traded. I'm more surprised that he didn't go to Boston because I thought that, going into Monday and like all the rumors on Sunday night, Monday, it was okay. He was going to Boston. It was more likely that's going to happen, that it was trending that way. Jaylen Brown, which, hey, we'll get into him in a little bit, but it seemed like that was the package, Jaylen Brown and draft picks and maybe Hugo Gonzalez as well. But for him to go to Miami shows that, number one, Pat Riley still has his fastball. I know myself and others were saying that he had lost it. He should retire. Well, Pat Riley made me eat a massive, gigantic piece of humble pie on Monday.
Like I do every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
But so credit to Pat Riley. As far as like this trade, I don't know how this makes Giannis' situation now with Miami better than it was in Milwaukee, honestly. Like, I look at it like this. You got Giannis, you got Bam. You got 2 guys that are great dominating inside but can't really shoot. Where's the shooting and where's the guard play going to come from? Norman Powell is most likely going to opt out and sign elsewhere for more money. Andrew Wiggins might opt out there. So, like, where's the shooting? Where's the guard play coming from? Like, right now, I think the Miami Heat are the 5th or 6th best team in the Eastern Conference, and that's it. Like, I don't think that this really vaults them to championship contender. Sure, you finally got a superstar there in Miami, but like, you need a guard, you need some shooting on this team for me to actually say
you got to fill like 4 or 5 roster spots, and you're against a lot of the financial barriers right now when it comes to the roster, when it comes to the salary cap and the apron.
Exactly. So, like, I just don't see how this really makes Miami that great. I mean, this looks more, Khaled and James, like the Pat Riley old days, like 1980s style offense, where it was like, hey, let's give the ball in the paint and let's dominate from inside. Like, Pat, this is not 1980s. This is like 2025. Come on, man. You can't build a team like that. You got to build a team from outside in. So this doesn't make any sense for me. I don't even know if they're the best team in Florida, believe it or not. I think Orlando could be better than Miami next year, even with Giannis in Miami. But they need shooting. They need guard play at the highest order. And I'm going to be interested to see what they do in free agency. I know that there's rumors already that DeMar DeRozan could get bought out by the Kings and he can go to Miami. There's talks that Klay Thompson could also go to Miami as well.
Right.
So it might be like Callan and James. You guys remember when LeBron, Wade, and Bosh all joined up in Miami the first time?
Oh, yeah.
And it was, yeah. And they were surrounded by guys like Juwan Howard, who was like 39 years old at that time. I think
they had a lot of they had a lot of like minimum salary 1 year guys that were on those rosters for the first couple of years when they began to win the titles. Yeah.
Yeah, like Shane Battier, Joe Anthony, I think was on that team as well.
The Birdman. Chris Anderson.
Yeah, the Birdman. But yeah, I don't think this like vaults Miami to championship. I mean, it's a good start, but it kind of just makes you as like it vaults you from a team that either is in the play-in or barely missed the play-in to a team that is now guaranteed a playoff spot and probably the 5th or 6th best team in the East. As far as what Milwaukee got, first of all, they got my boy Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is an underrated player in the NBA. I really like his play. I think he's going to show out in his hometown there in Wisconsin. I love that for the Bucks. Jaquez he's all right. He's kind of underrated.
He was 6th man of the year last year, though.
Yeah, but he's kind of like inconsistent in a little bit. Keo Ware, like you said, James, he's kind of shown flashes. You see flashes of greatness, but he's still very young. Kasparis, I'm not even going to say that name.
Yakachonis. And you claim to be a professional pronouncer of names.
Yakachonis. I'll be honest, I don't even know who he is. So
19 years old out of Lithuania.
Okay, did he play last season? I don't think he did, right?
If he did, it may have been garbage time minutes last year for them.
Okay, so the 3 first-round picks are good. I mean, they had 2 picks that they drafted some really good pieces in this past NBA draft. I mean, the Bucks got a nice haul, but I mean, it's going to take time, and they're rebuilding. So I'm be interested to see how they get out from the Kuzma contracts, as well as some of the other contracts, Miles Turner, some of the other contracts that they have on the books there.
Okay, it's been suggested that Miami could look for more shooting, like you mentioned, to help create some space. Nikola Jokic might get traded away. He's a guard who averaged 7 points last season, so they might try to sell that guy high and try to get some shooting. You mentioned that. Go ahead, Callan.
I mean, I think everyone saw the writing on the wall. I said this on Tuesday night that I think if you're a basketball fan like we are, you got tired of like the soap opera drama and the crocodile tears about, no, I want to stay, no, I want to go and chase that ring. And inevitably, Giannis got his wish. But like I try to tell Isaiah over the last couple of days, the move for either team doesn't really move the needle. It's literally the number 10 team and the number 11 team in the East, trading players. Like they're not really going anywhere with where things currently stand, as we already mentioned. And I know that I had done some cracked research over the past couple of days that there have been only a handful of teams who've won with the whole twin tower, 2 big men on the floor style of offense. The Spurs did that with Robinson and Duncan back in the 90s. You had Unseld and Hayes back in the Bullet days in 78. Win a title that way. Gasol and Bynum with the Lakers, for example. And whatnot, and that style of play, like Isaiah said, might go to what Pat Riley wants to build, like from the Showtime Laker days or the early Miami Heat days. But I mean, we all know though eventually that Giannis will get injured at some point during the course of the season, and then that takes away a big piece of the puzzle. And I always say, and Isaiah doesn't believe me though, but when you make a move like this, it doesn't always work in year one. And I'm trying to preach patience to Miami Heat fans. It will not probably be, go very well over in year one of this whole thing happening, especially if Giannis is beat up and injured and something else happens maybe. And also, again, how will you fill out the roster when you have so many financial constraints already shackled on you as is? It's the problem.
So I thought about it. He played less than 30 games last year. Giannis did.
Yep.
And you make a great point, Callan, where they are in the standings right now. It's like, yeah, maybe they're helping each other out long term for Milwaukee, but short term, how long are you going to have Giannis for? You know, the player option is for after next season, and we'll see about third. It's just a risk they want to take, but I think they wanted to do it a couple years ago, and they couldn't get a deal done, or Miami didn't put enough in it. You know, a couple years ago, I would think. Isaiah, unfortunately, you had one more thing to say.
Yeah, I wanted to add this about this trade. Is first of all, I'm surprised that Jovic was kept out of the deal, because in all the mock deals linking Giannis to the Heat, he was going to be in it one way or the other. So I'm shocked that he was out of it. And secondly, like, what I don't understand from Giannis is, like, if you look at the teams that you were linked to, right? Why would you not want to go to Boston and play with Tatum? Like, why would you not want to go to Golden State and play with Curry, who's, can shoot, you can dominate inside?
I mean, I can answer that question. I can answer that question, Isaiah,
Yeah.
and it's a stupid answer from Paul Biston of Spinning Chicklets, who you somehow admire watching that hockey podcast. Florida has no state income tax. That's why.
That's why it's stupid. Like, it doesn't, like you said, this doesn't move the needle. Like, you went from a place that you're already like stuck in mediocrity to another team that you're going to be stuck in mediocrity. So, I mean, why not go to LA? Go play with Luka.
No, because the Lakers don't have any damn money to pull off the move. And more importantly, what I think we also left out of the equation, fellas, the trade isn't official till July the 6th.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised. I would take Shams' reporting a little bit with a grain of salt that this can be a 1-for-1 team, with teams. There has to be other suitors, especially if Miami wants to alleviate some salary cap purgatory to fill out that roster. They're going to have to get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, maybe 15 teams involved just to make this damn thing work out, honestly.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. Kawhi Leonard is out there. Jaylen Brown is out there. Why don't we have a 4-team trade and just make it a concert out of it? Let's just try that.
Could this trade maybe break the record for most number of teams in wake of the KD trade to Houston from Phoenix last season when it was like a 17 trade?
Wow.
Can you imagine that chaos and that pandemonium if that happens?
And these are big names, too. It's not like just throw-ins. Isaiah, you mentioned how Jokovic was not in the trade. I was just thinking, Andrew Wiggins is on the Miami roster. He's always thrown in a trade, and this time he wasn't somehow. Even the Bucks said no to him. It's just funny to think about that. So speaking of more trades, one came down this morning, I want to say. The Minnesota Timberwolves acquired LaMelo Ball in a massive blockbuster. It's not a massive blockbuster trade that sends Naz Reid 3 first-round picks.
Maybe stop having AI write your scripts there, Lee Young.
3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks back to the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I saw some reaction from fans outside Spectrum Center or whatever they call it now. They are correct. Pissed. They are pissed. Thank you, Cal. They are so pissed. They're like, dude, he's on the wall right now. They have to tear it down or take his poster down. Just dramatic reaction this afternoon by Charlotte fans. To me, it just felt weird because it seemed like they were going in a direction, right? They re-upped with him. They drafted well the last couple of years. They made strides. They went on a great tear last year after starting out of the gate slow. And now you trade the most, star player. Also, what stands out to me, what you get back in the deal, yes, you get the first round picks that might be something, depending on if Anthony Edwards ever wants out in the future. But Naz Reid, you've seen what he's been able to do with Minnesota. He really spreads out the floor, and then he could bang inside. So it's a really great deal for the Charlotte Hornets to maybe grow up a bit. Maybe. This is what it comes out to. All right, Isaiah, what do you think about one of your favorite players getting traded to Minnesota?
I mean, it's shocking because when you told me that last night, I was like, I thought you had pulled it out from like like NBA Centel or something that this was happening.
That's something
like,
you would do. James at least has a brain.
I thought it was fake. And then like you sent it to me, so I go on Twitter instantaneously and I'm like checking it up, and it was true. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. Why the Charlotte Hornets just had an unbelievable season where they eclipsed their win total from the year before by like, I guess 12 or 13 wins. They had a winning record. They were on the cusp of making the playoffs. They beat Miami in that amazing play-in game where LaMelo Ball was so nifty down the stretch, and they just didn't show up against Orlando because they thought they had that game in the bag, but they didn't. And it just looked like they were trending, like you said, they were trending towards like something special with LaMelo and Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges and Con Knippel. I don't get it. I don't get what Charlotte is doing. Like, why are you making this move when you already have a power forward in Miles Bridges? Is something else coming in this deal? Maybe Naz Reid can slot over to small forward. But I mean, LaMelo made Con Knippel better. I mean, with his ability to pass and, take the defense off of Con, and it just, like, it was a perfect pairing. So I don't get why the Hornets are doing this. The only thing I can think of is that the general manager, Jeff Peterson, who came from Boston, LaMelo wasn't drafted by him. That's the only reason that I can think of, is he wants his own players. I think LaMelo was drafted by Mitch Kupchak and Michael Jordan in that ownership group. That's the only way I can think of it as to why they would want to do this. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. This guy's like 20-something years old. He's in his prime. He's very young. He just signed into a fat extension. It just seemed like, and I know he requested out like mid-season, but it seemed like he was playing himself back into the good graces of the Charlotte Hornets. Like, this makes no sense from the Hornets. And Callan, I'm going to say this, like I said on Tuesday night, when I was talking about the Blackhawks, it's stupid organizations doing stupid things. That's what this is. Like, it's just dumb organizations doing dumb things, and you have that in this case. But about the Wolves, I mean, what Minnesota gave up was really, really steep, I feel like. Giving up Naz Reid, the 2033 unprotected first-round picks, 3 first-round pick swaps after that. For a guy like LaMelo Ball, like, that's who they're banking on to be that second star next to Anthony Edwards. You better hope this works out, because if LaMelo doesn't lead Anthony Edwards to at least the NBA Finals, he's going to walk out the door. I mean, there's already rumors that Ant-Man is not happy in Minnesota, that he could leave. You better hope this works out, because if it doesn't, you're stuck with him for the foreseeable future. And the last thing I'll add is the biggest loser, fellas, in all of this is not Minnesota. It's not Charlotte. It's the Golden State Warriors. You had an opportunity to rewrite the wrong of 2020, to get another star opposite of Curry, and to have like that next star after Curry leaves, and to get rid of Draymond Green. And for you to not even entertain something like this, where you didn't even have to give up that much after you got Draymond's replacement, Mike Dunleavy should be shown out the door this morning.
Yeah, it could be true. It's funny how the Minnesota Timberwolves, they love trading their draft picks away. Remember all the draft picks they traded for Rudy Gobert, and that hasn't really worked out. Go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, this is a little perplexing for me, that a team like Isaiah said, who was so close, like maybe a year away from being a true contender, maybe, in the Eastern Conference, would make this move and kind of do like self-sabotage. Is that the best way to put it? Self-destruct in a way a little bit for this. I mean, Minnesota, I think, is the clear winner of getting 2 players. I mean, yeah, they coughed up a very steep price for this, though. But again, I don't know. I think the Wolves did also give up a lot, though, with how Naz Reid played last season, and how he was kind of like that glue guy over the course of the postseason run for them. And the Wolves finally, build something nice here, but then a lot of draft picks are coughed up. You lose one of your marquee pieces, though, or one of your good pieces, though, in Reid. But again, the logic for Charlotte just makes no sense to, again, be so close and then have to cast off, LaMelo, who I think, was he may have had his moments though, but I mean, he went there and tried to do what he could for a team who long has been, not going anywhere over the course of the last, several seasons until now. Yeah, it feels idiotic that you would, take one big step forward and then take two big steps backward like this for this trade. So yeah, I really don't have much else to say other than just like, what happened here? Like, why?
Yeah, we might look back at this and wonder why Charlotte will be back in the lottery in a couple of years, or maybe even next year. We'll wonder about that.
Unless they're in that stupid relegation zone now.
And then with Minnesota, with LaMelo, and Anthony Edwards, does this take him from maybe the 6th spot to the 5th spot? The West is so damn strong that you're gonna need more to get over the top. Just saying.
Yeah,
that.
and your division is so damn top heavy with the Nuggets and the Thunder, and then it probably is what OKC, Denver, Minnesota, then probably Portland, and then Utah.
Yeah, that's certainly
going to be Utah can be good too next year. That division could be stacked.
No. All right, let's get to the next topic. Sadly, it makes one of us happy here. Austin Reaves and the Los Angeles Lakers agreed to a 4-year, $185 million extension. Just wait for the taxes. In California, Austin Reaves will stay a Laker.
13%.
Damn. I'll tell you what. That's a good move for the Lakers. I didn't want it to happen, but you kind of need him. And I am happy for him because he's undrafted. He came from Oklahoma. And the last 2 years, I remember watching him, 19 and 20. He was just a floor general right away. And then he can get buckets. And somehow no team saw that in the draft. Because we're in draft time, of course. But I'm so happy for him to get an extension. I know he wanted more. But I think after this extension, he'll get the most if he continues where he goes. I'm going to go Callan first, and I want Isaiah because I don't want him to get happy. So, Callan, go ahead on this. What did you think about the Lakers extending Austin Reaves, and how does this affect LeBron?
Yeah, you wonder about that because, the long-standing argument come draft day, guys, wherever he's gone, is LeBron holding this team hostage? Are they, is he holding him hostage? It's long been the whole, like shtick, I'd say, about LeBron's time, nearing like a pivotal moment of contractual obligations. I think this move makes sense for them, especially when you're where again, I'm of the belief, Isaiah may know that this is my thoughts though too. How do you as a franchise prepare yourself for life after LeBron leaves? Look at what happened to Cleveland both times after he left. Look at how Miami was stuck in the ruts for a while. It hasn't happened yet for the Lakers, but you have to somehow begin to prepare for your team's life after LeBron leaves because you're going to be stuck in purgatory for at least 3 to 5 years, if not longer, if you don't have your bases covered. So here's a good starting point with Reaves. Now, the only thing I'd say is that he has to be healthy because you can't be going down with injury at the worst possible time. And he certainly has fit that mold very well over the course of his time, going from like a, off the bench piece to now a, solidified starting spot for the Lakers in that lineup. But you have to be able to, but I mean, the only thing I'd say is that you just have to be healthy. I think if they have a healthy Luka and a healthy Reaves, they might have been able to at least win a game over Oklahoma City. They still, I don't think, would have gotten past them. But I mean, that kind of is what it is with where the West is at, though. But I mean, and I also think though he had to take a pay cut though because of, like I said, the Lakers just don't have the assets because they have in a way kind of shipped off the future, for the last, for years because of them getting Anthony Davis, during COVID in 20. Around that time, and then all the other moves that have been made where they've had to, again, sign some guys in the back nine of their career. So, I mean, the move makes sense, but more importantly, this begins to put the Lakers in a good spot, though, for Laker life post-LBJ, which, again, a lot of teams don't prepare for usually.
Yeah, you never really think about it, but I remember when he left the Cavs, it was dreadful the first time. I mean, they could have, I think they could have broken the all-time loss record in NBA history if they weren't careful. And if it wasn't for those strike-ridden Charlotte Bobcats of 2011 or 12, whenever
Like,
that was,
the team that only won like 7 games or whatever it was.
7 and
Nine-
53, whatever it was. Isaiah, I'll let you gloat. The Lakers got their guy back, and I know you're happy for that. He fits right in your wheelhouse. So, what you think?
Why do you think my name is the scientist today, not the Asian Skip Bayless?
You're not
but
Coldplay.
the scientist? You know, before I get into that, James, I have something for you. Look at these. My 2 experiments on the wall all turned out to be extremely, extremely good. This
And have they won anything, sir?
What's that?
Have they won anything?
Hey, the Isaiah Sports Lab.
Have they won anything, Mr. Artificial Intelligence?
But this shows that I know talent. Simple as that.
Yeah, it doesn't translate to wins or championships. Really noted.
With that aside, I had to bring that up. With that aside, working on Macklin Celebrini being on the wall next, by the way. Secondly.
And what has he won? He's choked away playoff appearances and choked away a gold medal.
Really?
In a world championship tournament, too.
I notice all 3 of them have something in common. So, okay, Isaiah.
They're just like the mad scientists. They lose again.
All right, about Reaves. This validates Austin Reaves being a superstar in the NBA with that contract. 4 years, $185 million, $46 million a year. I mean, it's crazy to think that when he first started as like an undrafted rookie, just barely coming off the bench, and then to see where he's like grown into. I mean, it's incredible to watch. Like you mentioned, Callan, like the Lakers needed to cement franchise cornerstone pieces after LeBron. And I think now with Luka and then with Reaves, you're doing that. And, you know, you got Luka and Reaves who can be franchise guys, and they're now locked into long-term contracts. I think Luka has 1 or 2 years left on his deal, and then he can opt out. So you better make something work in this offseason. But the thing I like about this deal the most is that Austin Reaves could have gotten, if he had reached free agency, I have the numbers here. He could have gotten a 5-year, $245 million extension or a $245 million deal. That would have paid him equivalent of $50 million a year that would have come out of the Lakers cap space. But since they did this deal before he reached free agency, now, not only does he take a pay cut, like you mentioned, Callan, he's only going to get $46 million a year. He's only going to get 4 years, and he's only going to get $185 million, which, hey, that's still a lot of money. But, I mean, it could have been a lot more that he could have gotten if he reached free agency. He's giving the Lakers like a massive hometown discount because now we have $60 million in cap space that the Lakers can use in free agency. And they can use it now to make the team better, whether it's trading for a top player or, trading for complementary pieces. Please no Christian Braun. Please, God, no. I know he's been floated there in rumors. No, don't give me that. We don't need snow in LA. But, the Reaves is a great player because, like you said, he can handle the ball. He can shoot the three. He's gotten better as a three-point shooter in all the years that he's been with the Lakers. He can pass it really well. He can create his own shot, which is what the Lakers have been looking for. So he's a great, second star outside of Luka. And, you can't put the defense squarely on Luka because you got to worry about Reaves because he's got a tendency to go off when you put all that defense on Luka. So I love this deal for the Lakers. I love it for Reaves. Congratulations to him. I love it for the Lakers that they get, a lot of cap space to spend now in the off season. And more importantly, I love this deal because it validates that I know talent as this.
And your talent has not won you anything, sir.
That picture and all the things you do are so cringe sometimes, dog. That is, ugh. What the
I
hell?
mean, come on, we know it's AI, sir. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
the picture of Purdy and
You're
Reeves
you're
are
you're
not.
not you're not fooling anybody, sir.
Going the easy way out with
It's
AI.
AI slop. Stop wasting the water in California, damn it.
What I was thinking with Austin Reaves, I heard he was trying to get between, 48 to 50, but he didn't have the leverage yet, I guess, to get to 50. They obviously need him, and then they're probably gonna try to get more and see what LeBron wants to do.
James, can I say
Yeah.
something about LeBron real quick?
You got 5 seconds.
For LeBron, I don't think the Lakers should re-sign him, honestly. I think that, it'll be interesting to see what he does, but I don't think they should. I mean, you already tried to run it back with these three and it amounted to nothing. And so I don't think you should re-sign him. I think he should go to Golden State, if I'm being honest.
Also,
We're
by the
gonna
way,
figure-
by the way, the most losses, because we were talking about most losses for a single season, not including the Bobcats and the strike shortened season. The 72-73 Sixers, who went 9-73.
Jeez. Yes, that's forever the worst.
Only the 15-16 Sixers who went 10-72. They own the two worst records in NBA history.
That's right. And the Clippers, I think, had a 9-41 record in the 99 season. So those are the strike ones, but the real ones are the two that you mentioned. Ooh.
San Diego Rockets I think the San Diego Rockets, their first year went like 17-65, I think, their first year as a franchise in 68.
But that's not bad for a first-year franchise.
Club.
That's not bad. So let's get to the next topic. The Boston Celtics continue to aggressively shop star Jaylen Brown after he was the centerpiece.
Hey, guys, James, hang on a second. We got some breaking news from Shams from ESPN.
Uh-oh.
Mark Williams intends to sign a 3-year, $38 million contract with the Phoenix Suns.
He was already there, right? Or am I tripping?
He
3
is,
years, $38 million for Shams.
Oh, okay. Well, they need size. They need to continue to have a rebounding presence, and I think he embodies that, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
Go ahead,
And by the way, Devin Booker changed his number from 1 to 15 to honor his father.
I saw that.
Surprised you didn't bring it up.
I was going to bring it up during final thoughts, but it's going to be weird seeing him not wearing the 1. But I mean, I understand why he's doing it. It's just going to kind of seem a little bit weird.
Bucks and 6. Again,
Exactly.
The Celtics continue to aggressively shop star guard Jaylen Brown after he was the centerpiece in Boston for Giannis Antetokounmpo. For me, guys, I don't think it's going to happen. I think even after 4 years of shopping him, I think they still need him, and he needs them. I don't think he can go anywhere else and make an impact like he does with Boston. You can't trust Tatum's body right now, unfortunately. Jaylen was was a runner-up, I should say, in MVP last year. At least it felt like it this year. And man, Isaiah, I know you want trades just because of the news of it, but I just don't like this. I don't like a trade happening for Jaylen Brown. Even if it was with the Clippers, I don't think it. I think they want to go, a low payroll for right now. They don't want to bring anyone in. But I see that hurting the Celtics more than helping them. Even if it was like a 3-team deal with Kawhi and the Clippers, I still wouldn't like it, Isaiah.
Well, I think with this, look, Brett Siegel did a great piece for Clutch Points, and he wrote that Jaylen Brown hasn't directly told the Celtics that he wanted out. I don't know if I really believe that. I think that after the whole Giannis thing and after, he was shopped. I think he was shopped a couple years ago too, that I think Jaylen Brown, I think you're at a point where you can't return from this. I think that Jaylen Brown, went to Boston, and I think he requested out. I think that's what this is. I think that he wants, he's tired of the Celtics disrespecting him by shopping him, all over the place. It seems like, I want an MVP for you. I want a championship for you, and you're still shopping me out everywhere. You clearly don't value me as much as you value Jason Tatum. And I almost won MVP again this year, almost won MVP this year in the NBA. So I think that, he's tired of getting disrespected. I think he's tired of being like the number 2, and he wants his own team, and rightfully so. And I think that Brad Stevens, because, when there's so many rumors like this, and, you got Boston aggressively shopping him, and Shams reporting that the teams that are, giving Boston offers or saying that the tone that Boston has used is that they are doing this with intention. It just shows me that, I think it's only a matter of time until Jaylen Brown is traded. I think that he's played his last game for the Boston Celtics. As far as where he's going to go, I mean, I've heard rumors of Houston with Kevin Durant. I don't know how that would work, because I think Boston, I've heard rumors they want a big, right? So they want a big man to go with Jason Tatum. Will an Alpha in Şengün and picks maybe and some other pieces for Jaylen Brown maybe work? Because it seems like Şengün and the Rockets kind of are on different sides, especially after the playoffs when Şengün didn't really show up, and Ime Udoka was cussing him out on the sidelines. Could that maybe work? Jaylen Brown was coached by Ime Udoka in Boston. I could see that working out. Plus, then it would be, you would have Jaylen and KD. Jaylen, I feel like, would be the one in that situation, because KD, he's getting older now. He could take a step back. He doesn't need to have the defense attention on him. I'm trying to think of other places, like maybe Golden State. I know Golden State is always in the market for stars. They're trying to get a big fish with Curry this year. James, you mentioned last night. Did you mention San Antonio? Was that you that mentioned San Antonio for Jaylen Brown? Or I know you mentioned San
we were talking about.
I may have on Tuesday, Isaiah.
Oh, right.
What guards we were talking about, but it was in the different. It was like, okay, I was gonna trade Fox away from the Spurs, but I don't remember what team it was and what you're gonna get back. And then you kept mentioning, trade one of the young guards. Well, why the hell would you do that?
I mentioned Dylan Harper because of the rift that he reportedly had with the Spurs, that Devin Vassell came out and said that, Dylan Harper was not happy with him getting benched, like when he was getting hot and things like that. So he wanted like a specific role, which I'm like, you're a rookie, dude. Like, come on,
that could
man.
change, though, with playing time and playing need and injury or trade. Then it just opens up.
I think the trade that I was mentioning last night that would have made a lot of sense was Charlotte for LaMelo, because the GM, Jeff Peterson of Charlotte, came from Boston. So you got a connection there. Jaylen Brown in Charlotte could be the main guy with Con Knipple. Like, that made a lot of sense before the Hornets pivoted and traded LaMelo to Minnesota. But I've heard like New Orleans with Trey Murphy.
Oh, God, that'd be a death sentence.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess Brad Stevens could be like, hey, Jaylen, if you want your own team, we'll send you to Bourbon Street with Zion Williamson. You can have that.
Good Lord.
How about the Lakers? We got draft picks. We got, we can trade some players. Trade DeAndre Ayton, LeBron James, maybe.
Okay. Callum.
Boston, though.
Whatever. Go ahead, Callum.
Yeah, this whole thing, this is a pickle you don't want to be stuck in, like you're playing baseball and you're stuck in a rundown. That's kind of how it feels, because I think I said on my show on Tuesday that this, in a way, for a player has got to feel like a very much rock in a hard place, that you bust your ass to go out there for the franchise in the city. You go out there, you win a title, you win finals MVP. Yet, though, twice now in a 4-year stretch, you've been in trade talks regarding Giannis in Milwaukee or elsewhere. The thing I mentioned, though, is that why would I not be I would not be surprised, I should say, if Jaylen Brown, because of his conduct on Twitch streams over the course of the postseason, just tells the franchise, I'm just going to sit at home and be a Twitch streamer until you figure out where my next place is going to be. Like, could this be like a new version of the James Harden situation when he left Houston? Now, he's not going to bulk up and become, a fat SOB when that happens, like Harden did, though, when he forced his way out of Houston. But in a way, like, this could become like that cascading effect that I'm unhappy with the franchise. The franchise doesn't want to budge on the move, though. So in turn, I'm going to hold out, be an a-hole, kill the team and, care about myself, not the team. And in a way, just do my own thing until I get my way. And that's kind of how and I think that's how Jalen is coming off, I think, in this sense, though, especially where I think Isaiah might be right, though, that when you're always in the rumor mill when it comes to being traded, that does stay in the head a little bit longer than it probably should. And especially when it's like, hey, I look at what I've done for you. It's one of those, like, I always love the phrase, what have you done for me lately? What have I done for you lately? I helped bring you a championship. I carried the team on my back the entire 25-26 season until Tatum came back. What more do I have to do to prove my worth to the organization? And yet this is the thanks I get is my name is back in trade talks. I'm just going to sit at home and play video games and be a Twitch streamer. Screw you.
We wonder if that's going to be the case, but with Boston and the Celtics, you hope that you don't let that happen, though, but we'll have to see. This is after the trade, of course, or I'm sorry, after the draft that happened. And let's go through some of the results real quick. Number one, the first pick, it was kind of going to be like between two people, right? So AJ DeBonza ends up going to Washington. Darren Peterson, who loves to take games off, even in college, went to the Utah Jazz. I think if you flip that better, I think the owner of the Jazz would have loved it even more. Cameron Boone. There's no jazz clubs in Utah.
Exactly.
Cameron Boozer, I think, has the perfect fit there with the Memphis Grizzlies since Jaren Jackson Jr. was traded to Utah. Cameron Boozer ends up with Memphis there to kind of start over. We wonder about the jaw trade. Caleb Wilson, just another Caleb in the Chicagoland area, becomes a Chicago Bull.
Isaiah, the Jazz did not go from Vancouver. That was the Grizzlies.
Oh, God.
So the New Orleans Jazz.
New Orleans Jazz. That's where they should be still. Yes. But Caleb, he already said, you already had one GOAT in this franchise of Chicago. I'm going to be the next one. Hold on,
North Carolina.
I know they both went to North Carolina, but hold on, bud. The Clippers got what I thought personally they should have had. They get Wagler from Illinois. He's going to be a scorer, of course, and he's going to be raw at first, but I think he'll just he'll probably just grow into it.
Hopefully he'll be in San Diego to start off his career there, Mr. Gonzalez. We can go watch him play.
Well, I think they're that desperate, though. He would be on the regular LA team. I really think so. Unfortunately, but their second round pick will be here at San Diego, probably. Some, I guess, notable ones. You had number 12. You had Adi Mara, the transfer
center,
from UCLA going to Michigan, I believe it was. Go with the Oklahoma City Thunder. You got Dalen Swain going to the Bulls. Bennett Sturts going to Oklahoma City at 16. So OKC got busy there, adding size. Let's see. Kareem Lopez, the 21st pick of the Memphis Grizzlies, the first Mexican. I think it was firstborn.
Yes, correct.
First round pick there. And then the sleeper, I think, in this whole draft is at 22nd with the Philadelphia 76ers taking LeBaron Philon Jr. He, in what I saw of his scoring and his highlights, he looks NBA ready already. He just adds to what the Sixers are doing. Now, they don't want to be as tough, but they just want to outscore people. And you saw that against Boston in the playoffs last year. From St. John, 23rd overall, went to the Hawks. Zuby Elafor, he is a strong cat. This dude, You saw him play for Rick Pitino at St. John's. He's going to be something good for the Hawks. It's just not going to be scoring, but it's going to be just a presence inside. At 24, the Lakers got Cameron Carr from the Knicks there. Tyrus Reed went to the Spurs to even help them out even more. Alex Caravan from the UConn Huskies went to the Sacramento Kings there. And then to mention the second round, I think only one player was drafted and kept in the second round. Jalen Bradley was the 50th pick overall. Everyone else from 31 to 60 was traded in some type of deal. So, man, I hope nobody watched that second night. I sure didn't. Well, maybe I did at the end just to see if any trades were coming up, but much to do about nothing. Everything was on the top 5 picks. So, Isaiah, if you can give your little, opinion about the draft here, and then maybe try to get us to understand, since you're in the Bay Area, what the hell was going on between Joe Lacob, the owner of the Warriors, and then the GM of the Warriors, Mike Dunleavy Jr. They had a disagreement about something, and maybe if you can get into that real quick and see maybe who they should have drafted instead of Lindenberg.
Yeah, it's been much speculated. I mean, Mike Dunleavy in his post-draft press conference tried to downplay it and say that like him and Joe Lacob were arguing over what's the best golf courses in the Bay Area. That's a bunch of nonsense right there. There's no way you were doing that. Like, come on. So I think it's been speculated that they were arguing over, because it's been reported in the past that Joe Lacob has had a lot of involvement in the draft. I think that he wanted James Wiseman in 2020. Bob Myers wanted LaMelo Ball, and the scouts wanted LaMelo Ball. And then the owner basically was like, they ended up going with the owner's choice, and that ended up not working out. The owner wanted Kuminga. He had a great relationship with Jonathan Kuminga, during his time with the Golden State Warriors. And instead of, I know a lot of the scouts wanted Franz Wagner, and instead they went Kuminga, and that didn't work out. So Joe Lacob has had a lot of involvement with the draft with the Warriors. And I think that's the problem with the Warriors, is you're seeing their downfall because they haven't hit on a lot of their top picks that they've had when they were really bad during those years that Curry and Draymond and others were hurt. And they didn't hit on those picks. All those picks became busts or were shipped out. And you've seen that, and it's just been Curry and a bunch of players that you're just like, yeah, that's not that great of a talent. But I think what happened was, James, is that Mike Dunleavy wanted Lurenberg, the forward out of Michigan. And Joe Lacob wanted the center, Mara from Michigan. And, the problem with the Warriors is like, you got the owner meddling. The owners had a track record of missing the picks, and then not letting the GM do his job. And then you've got the GM. And I think that's why Bob Myers ultimately stepped down, was because he even said that like the expectation and the standard in Golden State was so high, and rightfully so, that it just drained him of his energy, and he just felt so burnt out afterwards. So that's what's going on in Golden State right now. I'll get to them in a little bit, but as far as this entire draft is concerned, I think my biggest winners of this draft was, I really liked the Grizzlies getting Cam Boozer, because it will allow Zach Edey now to play in the paint. Cam Boozer is a guy that can operate from the outside. He can shoot. He can pass. I think that opens up another dimension for the Memphis Grizzlies. Caleb Wilson going to the Bulls. I love that, because now you got that centerpiece there in Chicago alongside, Matas Buzelis and all the other guys they have there, Josh Giddey as well. They hired Thiago Splitter, by the way, which we forgot to mention. I think that's a really good hire for the Bulls. He can help, develop a lot of that young talent there like he did in Portland. Darren Peterson to the Jazz. I mean, they do get that centerpiece, with Jaren Jackson and Lauri Markkanen. I thought they were going to go Boozer just because his dad works in the front office, and I thought just based on that connection that they might draft him, but they ultimately went. They went with the best player available, but I think the biggest loser, honestly, is Golden State, because you could have had a chance to get Mara. You needed size and you needed a big, and instead you end up getting Nuremberg, who is considered the most NBA-ready player in the draft. So does this mean that Draymond Green is out the door? Because he plays the same position as Draymond. He's 6'10", he can pass, he can score, he can shoot better than Draymond. Does that mean Draymond Green potentially could be out the door this summer? I mean, that begs the question now. And then Cam Carr to the Lakers. I watched, a lot of people might say I don't watch college basketball, but that's absolutely
You don't, because you
false.
root for every single university out there. Don't be giving me that look, Fu, just because you're a student at ASU. Stop.
Hey, I watched Baylor this past season, and Cam Carr was the highlight player for Baylor, and I like that guy's game, man. From shooting to his ability to drive and pass. I mean, I think he's going to add another element for the Lakers. And then I think the other big steal was Mara going to the freaking Thunder. As if the Thunder already didn't need any more good players, they go out and get another one. That also begs the question. Is Chet Holmgren gone this summer? Because you have another big who's NBA ready. He can play alongside Hartenstein. Is Hartenstein gone this summer? Like, I think one of those two big, because you can't play with three bigs. Like, come on, man. Like, this is not the 1980s.
Probably send him to the G League first there, Skippy.
Yeah, but I think, like, Chet Holmgren's time with Oklahoma City is numbered.
That's going to be
I
interesting
don't think
to
I'd
see
go
with
that
Chet
far
Holmgren.
after one trip to the finals and a flame out in the conference final.
What I suggested, Callan, to Isaiah one day, I said, to start the season, they should have Chet Holmgren come off the bench and just lead the scoring.
Just
of
give
the
it a
bench.
shot and see what happens. I mean, it really
And
can't be that much of a difference, I would say.
I mean, you can
Just
do
try
that
to
now.
get him in there and just try to get him in the flow of things better so he can last longer later on.
Sadly, I think that Mr. Holmgren's going to kind of bulk up a bit, though, too.
That too. Eventually,
he
still
looks like he's the same skinny kid I saw play at Gonzaga against USD.
And he tore the Toreros up that night too, if I remember.
That's not saying much, sadly.
Callan, what did you think about the NBA draft? Like, what stood out to you mostly?
Why are you trying to make this a two-day spectacle like the NFL and the NHL when it comes to the draft? And I know that baseball's got their draft issues and the CBA BS that dropped this morning on Thursday. I didn't watch it. I just, there's other things that were on the radar for me, especially with the World Cup going on and stuff of that caliber as the group stage almost ends and Team USA plays at 7:00 this evening. That I think I was more perplexed about why is this thing a two-day event? Like the NBA draft for me just doesn't move the needle because it's, it's only 2 rounds. Like it's not like the NHL draft where I think it's 7 rounds or the baseball draft where it's 20 and it's done in 1 day's time. I don't think you need 2 days to pick 2 players for the NBA. And more importantly, you know how bad the second round was, as we said, guys? All but one guy got picked by the team that did not trade their pick.
Another trade.
Yeah, it felt very much like what are we doing here? Come on, stop.
I'll tell you what, has the NBA draft ever been held outdoors anywhere? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
They might want to try that.
No, the NFL's done that when it's come to the Bellagio and
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Detroit. The NHL's done it a couple times, but they usually go usually the NHL goes to a home arena somewhere and it's a centralized location, so they don't usually bring people in. Minus them going to the Sphere, as Isaiah was at. That's the only time that they really open the event up to the public, and then teams aren't usually even there. They're drafting back in I think the Ducks had their location for the draft war room at some hotel in Newport Beach. They don't even go to the draft like they used to. So I don't know. I when I saw it was a 2-day event for the NBA draft, y'all are not even close to being a spectacle like the NFL or NHL.
No.
You just got to do it one night and be done with it.
I would love that. But I would love
It
for
happened
that
the same
to
night
happen.
as the World Cup, though, too.
In that too, yeah.
You got to fight that. So yeah, I would love to see them kind of experiment with the NFL,
If I'm not mistaken,
MLB,
guys,
NHL.
by the way,
does.
wasn't this also like the third year in a row that it's been at Barclays Center in Brooklyn? Like they don't like take it, like as James said, like
It
they don't
feels
go
like that.
anywhere else to do the draft.
It
I
feels
feel
like yeah.
I feel like every year it's been in Barclays. I feel like for like the last
Yeah.
At least 10
years,
years, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like it's
Okay.
at least the last 10 years.
I'm gonna date myself, but also I've seen it on YouTube where some drafts have come up from the '90s, and they had them in Toronto. They've had them in Vancouver.
San Diego
had
had
him-
one.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember where else, but it was always. I remember before it was always at the Madison Square Garden arena, not the actual garden.
Or the days of them having it at Radio City, well, at least for the NFL when they had Radio City Music Hall.
But NBA wise, I'm thinking they haven't really gone anywhere else, and they haven't really made a spectacle out of it. It just doesn't flow that way, I guess. Maybe they should treat it like prom and have everybody come dressed up in the gym or something. I don't know, dude. But let's get to some news that happened, I think, just before the draft, I want to say. The Mavericks stunned the
By the way, time out.
NBA world.
James, hang on.
Uh-oh.
The NBA draft has been held in Brooklyn for 12 straight years, minus the COVID year where they had the conference call style draft in 2020.
Oh my God. I remember just the only notable
12 consecutive NBA drafts have been held in Brooklyn.
Jeez. The only moment that I remember like the crowd reacting was when Porzingis got drafted by the Knicks and everybody hated it in the crowd that was a Knicks.
Yes.
That's literally the only memorable moment of the draft the last, let's just call it 12 years.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I don't remember anything.
Sadly, I think the lottery is more relevant than the draft. Like,
Well, especially that they're going to do what the NHL does finally and actually show the actual lottery draw on TV now.
The draft lottery that was actually in Chicago at Pier 51 or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yes.
That was actually there. So why not do the draft somewhere like that? Just thinking of it. Maybe it's too hot outside. I don't know. But you can do it it's at night though. Should be fine. But the Mavericks stunned the NBA world. Hire Michigan coach Dusty May, who's just fresh off of winning a national championship just 3 months ago, to be their new head coach. Dusty May, by the way, the last 27 months, he was the coach at some Florida school. I'm trying to remember.
Florida Atlantic.
Thank you. Florida FAU. And then he ends up at Michigan, and now he's in the NBA. You talk about a fast track that is just way off course. This is the way to kind of lose your job right away if you get too high. But let me say this. The last 10 NBA head coaches hired from college. You had John Beelan going from Michigan to Cleveland, and it only lasted 1 year, and he didn't even last the whole season in 2019. Billy Donovan went from Florida to Oklahoma City. Of course, he's still coaching. Or no, he's not right now. But Fred Hoiberg, I remember this one, from Iowa State to the Bulls. You had Brad Stevens, who went from Butler to Boston, and now he's the president, I guess. From New Mexico State to the Sacramento Kings, Reggie Theus only lasted about 1.5 years with the Sacramento Kings in 2007. That was just a disaster team. Even worse, we talked about this, Isaiah, the other day. The Stanford coach going from the Golden State to the Golden State Warriors in 2004. Mike Montgomery only lasted a couple of years as well. Before Michael Jordan went to Washington, he hired Leonard Hamilton from the University of Miami to the Washington Wizards. Again, that only lasted 1 year in 2000. Leon Kruger went to the Hawks back in 2000, and that only lasted a couple of years. Maybe the worst of all is Tim Floyd going from Iowa State to the Bulls after Jordan in the start of '98, and that didn't last well. And then Rick Pitino going from Kentucky to the Boston Celtics, where he just was ego-driven. He was just trying to change everything around.
I have more names I dropped on my show on Tuesday.
I was thinking of Jerry Tartanian going from UNLV to the Spurs, trying to get away from all the punishment that was coming to the Running Rebels.
Oh, so he pulled a Brendan
Uh,
Sorsby.
yeah, we'll get to that too. But Isaiah, now you mentioned a couple of days ago about how the Mavericks with their new GM was trying to get someone maybe off the radar to be their head coach. And I don't know if you mentioned Dusty May, but I think you had Don Staley, I think, at one point, or somebody else. Why? But that'd be a
And Becky
significant
Hammond.
move.
They're not going to leave their cushy jobs winning national titles or WNBA championships, Isaiah. Now when Hammond's the highest paid coach in the WNBA right now.
So, Isaiah, did you have Dusty May on your radar or somebody else? And
Yeah.
how much of a surprise this was?
You know, I will say this. First of all, a toast to me for getting it right. A beer, ladies and gentlemen.
And now he's going to go yak.
Anyways, no sugar.
There's probably water in there.
No, it's not. It's a beer. It's a Budweiser. Come on, man. Come on, James. Best beer in.
Birdie, yeah.
Anyways, like that saying, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So, or it's 5 o'clock in the Bay Area. So it's happy hour. Anyways, I'm surprised that they were able to pull this off because had been hearing rumors that it was John Shire and Dusty May that they were going after and that they were interested in. But I said this, like, I think on the last show, that Masai Ujiri, the guy he's going to hire, it's not going to be a conventional candidate. It's going to be like one of those candidates that is from like out of left field because he always does this. He did this with Denver where he hired Brian Shaw when nobody had Brian Shaw on their radar whatsoever to be the head coach. And he hired Brian Shaw. I don't think that ended up working.
Isaiah, wait. Can we do the thing real quick? Brian Shaw, what he got from Nick Van Exel? What we do in the huddle in the 82nd game of the year where everybody's just waiting on vacation? They put their hands in 1, 2, 3, Cancun.
Yeah, he hired Brian Shaw, and then with the Raptors, I think he hired Nick Nurse Nick Nurse was an assistant, but he was also their head coach in the G League the year before.
Raptors
and then
905, baby.
Right. And then they hired, after Nick Nurse, I believe they hired Darko Radakovic, assistant from the Grizzlies, who nobody really had heard of prior to then. So, yeah, Masai Ujiri, who is the real savior of Dallas basketball, by the way.
Don't even say that when the Wings are 11-5 and Beckers might be winning MVP, Isaiah.
But
I had that too on the MVP, just saying.
Yeah.
That point aside, Masai Ujiri, what a coup. I mean, to go out and get Dusty May after you tried your damnedest to go get John Shire, I mean, it's just bravo to him and bravo to Patrick Dumont, the owner, after all the criticism that he got for allowing Nico Harrison to trade away Luka Doncic, then doing the right thing, firing Nico Harrison, hiring Masai Ujiri when nobody thought you were going to be able to pull that off, and also hiring the legendary president Rick Welts away from retirement. For you to go get Dusty May, it cements that the Mavericks are back, that they're over the whole Luka Doncic debacle, and hey, they're back now as a marquee franchise. And Masai Ujiri truly saved basketball in Dallas. And
Paige Becker's like that more with you, and so would AZ Fudd.
But no, this is a good hire for the Mavericks. And I think it's going to be different than the other coaches because that came from college, because I think that with Dusty May, he let the players lead the team, which is kind of what the NBA is, like where the players have a lot of the power. It's player empowerment. So he let the players lead the team. He wasn't all like rah, like I got to have an ego type of thing. He was more of an elite tactician in terms of his offense. We'll see how that offense now generates with Cooper Flagg to the NBA. So I think that like that ego part, I think that he's not going to have an issue with that. The locker room, I think he's going to have respect of the locker room. And also I think one thing that Dusty May has in his favor that a lot of these other coaches that jumped from college to the NBA didn't really have, like minus like a Brad Stevens and a Billy Donovan, was Billy Donovan walked into a situation where, hey, do you really need a head coach to lead the team? I mean, you got Kevin Durant, you got Westbrook, you've got like all this talent. Just don't mess it up. Just stay out of the way and don't mess it up. That's kind of the situation that Dusty May's walking into, where it's like you've got talent there in Dallas. It's not like the cupboard is barren there in Dallas. So I love the situation a lot. And plus, you've got a great GM to work with in Masai Ujiri, who's a future Hall of Famer. You've got Mike Schmitz there, also who's their GM, who worked at ESPN. He went to the Blazers, and now he's the Mavericks general manager alongside Masai Ujiri. So I think there's a lot of great things going forward for Dusty May. And also, like, I'm not surprised after reading what Dusty May had to say that he left for the NBA, because when he was asked by CBS Sports, is he going to be the Michigan head coach in 3 to 4 years, he flat out said no. And he said that the reason why was because the college sports had just become super volatile, and there wasn't any like rest period, and it was like, hey, we win the national title, and then 10 minutes later when the clock hits 12 a.m., well, we got to move on, and we got to get on Zoom calls and start talking to transfers that could potentially come to Michigan. We got to retain our own players. Like there's no off season for these coaches, and it's easily you could get burnt out. So I think that this could be the first wave in terms of like more college coaches, I feel like, jumping to the NBA, just because they're just like, you know what, I'm done with this BS. Like I'm done with having to like coach and recruit and like do it year round. Like I could see a John Shire going to the NBA next season. Like I could see some other coaches, a DJ Otzenberger from Iowa State going to the NBA after like in the next 2 years.
No, John Shire, he's going to stay at Duke. Nobody wants to see that stare in the NBA. Grand opening, grand closing for Dusty May, Callan at Michigan. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, college athletics, I'm the only one here who can actually speak on it, having been in it for 15 years. And, the landscape, though, has just been thrown into the atmosphere between, where everything is at. I just saw the Division II school I worked at, that their head women's basketball coach resigned her position, and then literally took a job at TCU like the following day. And that's one thing. And here, this lightweight's drinking a 0 alcohol Budweiser. Like, come on, Isaiah, are you that weak? Good Lord. But no, James, I'm glad though, James, that you brought up some other coaches who did not translate well, because I've long said that it takes a while, and usually that coaches that make the jump don't always make the best pro coaches. So you mentioned I think what we missed though, guys, did we forget about John Calipari going to the New Jersey Nets back in the 90s?
Well, I had the last 10, and then Tartanian came in my head just right away. So
don't worry, James, I got you though. So Calipari with the Nets, fresh off the Final Four run at UMass, and tried to implement his aggressive, micromanaged collegiate taskmaster environment on a professional roster. But of course, Calipari, for one, did the biggest sin, alienating the locker room, publicly insulting local media members, and finishing his NBA career with a 72-112 record before he was let go early into his third season. James mentioned Patino, but more about that with the Celtics. That was a 10-year, $70 million deal, 102 and 146 record. His full court press defense did not work, and of course made that stupid remark though that Larry Bird was not walking through that door 26 years ago that saw him, lose out there. Other examples, guys. And this goes to baseball and the NFL. Anyone remember Steve Spurrier coaching the Redskins back in 02-03? Attempted to run his wide-open college fun-and-gun offense with no structural adjustment for the NFL. Resigned after a 12-20 record, proving that his college schematic advantages did not translate very well. Saban with the Dolphins, 05 and 06. Went 15-17 over 2 years. The rigorous micromanaged collegiate program failed to resonate with seasoned pro veterans. Again, that's another thing I always say. and saw him go back to Tuscaloosa after he had a famed locker room issue with some quarterback named Dante Culpepper that season. What about Bobby Petrino with the Falcons in 2007? Who left Louisville mid-contract, lasted a microscopic 13 NFL games, and resigned via a laminated 78-word letter that was left in the player's locker room before he went back to college. Where else are we at here? Urban Meyer in 2021 with the Jaguars. The ultimate disaster where he only spent 13 games as the Jags head coach before he was let go for cause following severe locker room alienation, a public kicking incident with a player, and an absolute failure to adopt college authority to a pro ecosystem. And sadly, Isaiah, some bum named Tony Vitello, who's the manager of the San Francisco Giants, brought intensity and high-energy college dugout theatrics directly from the college ranks into Major League Baseball, but the system has suffered a massive rejection over a grueling long-form pro season, leading to severe communication blockages with veteran players, Rafael Devers being a complete a-hole, and those who don't like the hyper-animated approach to the ball club, where, again, they're next to last in the NL West. So I think Dusty May is going to be different than all these coaches, as we all said, but it still does scare me. You can, call me out and make this a clip, Isaiah, if you want. But there's still something that is not quite there yet with a college coach who, again, has full control over the locker room, that you will obey my orders like this is the damn military. You will listen to me as your drill instructor for these 4 years. You can't pull this stuff off, fellas, when you get to the pros, because you run the risk of having a locker room like Vitello in San Francisco. You've got Matt Chapman. I'm a 15-year veteran, sir. You can't talk to me that way. I have my own family and my own kids. What do you know about coaching in Major League Baseball? That's the only problem I think that coaches have, though, that might encounter, because I think what we're forgetting, guys, Cooper Flagg's one thing. You get to deal with Kyrie Irving. Good luck with that.
Are we sure he's going to be on the team, though?
If he is,
yeah,
good luck with that.
Yeah, he's coming back from injury. He's going to be playing, but it just seems like a real risk to hire May there. Do we have any comments, Isaiah, before we get to the intriguing part of this show?
We don't. We only got Callan's comments, because I don't know what's going on with the comments section. I don't know what's
shout out to Casey King out there. The NFL segment, and luckily it's only one story, but it's one.
He's not able to comment for some reason. I don't know why.
Uh-oh. This is one NFL story that I wanted to get my popcorn for you too, but it's too hot for popcorn.
I'm out.
But the NFL denies embattled Texas Tech quarterback Brennan Sorsby the supplemental draft. Denies that, claiming that his application carries a lot of issues. Meanwhile, Sorsby attorneys says that is a violation of the NFL CBA, in which he's not a member of the NFL yet, and will take legal action. And I know Sorsby wants to play next season for sure, but he's trying to sneak in now. Now, personally, I don't know much about the situation, but it just seems like, yes, he's had betting issues before, and who says it won't happen again? As a professional, you can't have that either, of course, because you'll get banned or suspended right away. But it seems like him and his attorneys were just trying to manipulate the system and get into the NFL the easy way. But it's not going to happen. Callan, I don't know where I want to go to first. Should I let Isaiah go first, and then you want to rebuttal?
I mean, if you want the rebuttal, because I have all the data in front of me, then sure.
Oh, let's do that. I want to see if Isaiah loses this argument.
Go ahead, Callan. You're first.
No, you're up first. I'm the one pushing back. You go first.
Oh, I'm first. Okay. I'm shocked. I really am. Because I thought the NFL was a league where, hey, we can let anything, slip under the rug, and the kid went to rehab, and
35 days doesn't move the needle for rehab, Isaiah.
I understand. I know, but I've seen cases where you get people who have done worse, domestic violence and others, that have got back into the league. So I thought the NFL would at least let him have a supplemental draft.
Not when you have to satisfy all the gambling partners of the league, Isaiah. That's not how it works.
I understand that, but I'm still shocked that he didn't get this supplemental draft. Sure, did what he did, was it egregious? Yes, it was. You should never gamble on games. I think he bet on how many Indiana games? It was like 40 games.
He
While
placed
he was there.
9,000 bets over 4 years and lost or wagered $90,000 when it came to college football, the NFL, and overseas sporting events.
So yeah, the kid needs help, obviously, and 35 days is not enough for you to get help. But come on, man. We've all done stuff as kids that we've all regret. I mean, I've certainly done my share of it. Let's give this kid some leniency. Come on, man. You're like, get him the help, but don't hamstring the kid.
Did Pete Rose come back to Major League Baseball after he gambled?
What's that?
Did Pete Rose come back to baseball after he gambled?
But Callan, that was a different era, dude. That was like the 70s.
Is Jonte Porter still in the NBA?
He's not, but that's because he bet on his teams to lose.
It doesn't matter, Isaiah. If you make a bet on your team, win or lose, it's a violation of the rules of the league you're playing in. You cannot do it.
I understand, but I believe in change. Like, this kid did it in college, okay? He's sorry about it. He needs to get help, which, hey, I'm glad that they denied it, because he can go and get some real help now, maybe spend a year in rehab, whatever, and then turn your life around. But I'm of the belief that
he's got nowhere to land, because no football team, indoor football, CFL, overseas leagues in the NFL, they're not going to take a gamble on him.
They're not, but I mean, if he had gone to the supplemental draft,
his career case closed.
Well, no, if they had a supplemental draft, dude, the Jets would have taken him, dude. Come on, man. You know the Jets are going to do something stupid like that, Callan. This guy was a first-round pick. You know Woody Johnson's going to be like, F your gambling stuff. I don't care about off-the-field issues. They're going to do something like that. Like, that's why I knew either the Jets or the Browns were going to draft him. Maybe even Minnesota.
Now, if you would have listened to Todd Monken's comments, he said any team who drafts him is now going to walk a slippery slope. The brainless, hapless Browns have more brains than you.
Well, the Jets would have taken him then. I guarantee you the Jets would have taken him. But let's give this kid some leniency, man. Let him learn from his mistakes. We've all made mistakes in the past. Come on, man. We
may have made mistakes. We didn't gamble on a team to win or lose a game while we were on the damn roster, Isaiah. There's a difference.
Yeah, but he was in college. That's a difference.
Isaiah, it makes no difference if you're in college. Go and read the bylaws of the NCAA bylaw rulebook.
Yeah, I understand, but dude, let him change his life.
I understand and try to keep pushing back.
Look at Tyrann Mathieu. This dude did like bad stuff in college. He came back and he turned his life around. Look at Deshaun Watson too. He turned his life around.
Now, are we sure about that when he's getting all that money and not playing for the team because he's always hurt? It's still getting sued.
But he's not doing the other off the field stuff though.
Wow.
I wonder why, and how can you compare domestic violence to gambling?
I mean, I'm talking about turning your life around though, from your mistakes.
Has he really turned his life around when he keeps getting sued every other week by a new victim of his actions?
I don't think he's been sued in the last 3 years, has he?
He paid them all off, but it's still there. It doesn't cloud over him.
A record, Isaiah. It's still going to be there.
Yes, yeah, but here's the thing though. This guy's a kid. He's how old is he? He's a 22-year-old, 23-year-old.
He ain't no kid, Isaiah, when he's 22 years old and he can vote.
He's a 22-year-old. Let's give him some leniency so that he can learn from his mistakes and then, get back into the NFL possibly by next year.
Isaiah, go ahead, Callan.
Yeah, let me actually read the whole thing that the NFL Management Council, via the league's attorney, Lawrence P. Ferranzi Jr., issued the cold rejection directly to Sorsby and his primary legal team and his quack of a lawyer, Jeffrey Kessler. So the league officially finalized its decision to not hold the supplemental draft, freezing Brendan Sorsby out of the pro football ranks until at least the April draft. But with that, though, here's where Isaiah is missing the point. The league had already noted that they had no baseline plans to conduct the draft anyway this year, since no other player had requested entry. So you have to have more than one player actually file the proper paperwork to do so. So here's where Isaiah misses. The NFL specifically called out the timing and the presentation of his filing, stating in part, and I quote from the letter, that your petition filed 3 business days before the deadline without any further supporting information or documentation, and only after abandoning your recent litigation efforts to avoid punishment by the NCAA, does not provide a basis for the league to alter those plans. The NFL further reprimanded the legal team for withholding materials. So, Isaiah, withholding documentation does not qualify you for the draft. Noting in part that the league does not have the complete record of the investigation, and you did not provide any such materials with your petition. The document heavily emphasized the threat to the Shield's corporate competitive security, stating that available information clearly indicates Brendan Sorsby knowingly engaged in repeated significant violations designed to preserve the integrity of athletic competition in both college and even the NFL. This includes funding accounts in the names of third-party members to place wagers on his own team and teammates to intentionally evade detection of his gambling habits. The league finally concludes that the petition failed to demonstrate any baseline accountability or indicate how Sorsby would adhere to the NFL's strict anti-gambling parameters. Instead of accepting responsibility, the league noted that Sorsby, likely young, treated professional entry as a secondary escape hatch only after his litigation strategy against the NCAA collapsed and fell apart. Sorsby was formally advised to spend the next 10 months preparing for the next draft cycle. Where did I stutter?
Yeah, that felt like a kid was talking, and then the adult in the room came in and just shut it down. I think you know which way we're going.
Of course.
So yeah, yeah, you're the kid, Isaiah. So we'll see what happens after this.
Well, I want to say this: the lawyers should not sue the NFL because
they'll lose.
Yeah, they'll lose, and then they'll get blackballed from the league. We've seen people sue the league in the past, and it hasn't worked out. So that's would be my advice to the lawyers: do not sue the league. Just get this kid help.
His lawyer is likely young. He's a quack. There you go.
Is he going to sue the NFL? If they're actually going to sue the NFL, or because I know they were saying that they were going to.
By the way, since Isaiah thinks that this is a nothing burger, here's the actual bylaw, Rule 10.3 and 10.31, that I have to adhere to as a 15-year NCAA announcer. The following individuals shall not knowingly partake in sports wagering activities or provide inside information. This is why it's bad, Isaiah. To individuals involved in or associated with any type of sports betting activity, which is concerning intercollegiate, amateur, and professional athletic competition. That includes staff members of a school's athletic department, non-athletic department staff members who have responsibilities within or over the athletic department, like the school chancellor, the president, faculty athletics representatives, individuals to whom athletics reports to, staff members of the conference office, and student athletes, which includes Brendan Sorsby. Further, Rule 10.3.1 says the prohibition against sports wagering applies to any school practice or any competition, whether that's intercollegiate, amateur, or professional, and a sport in which the association conducts championship competition in bowl subdivision football and in emerging women's sports. By simply placing wagers on college football games and mainly on the Hoosiers roster while holding an active roster spot, though he wasn't playing on that very roster, Brendan Sorsby committed the ultimate sin for amateur athletics. Underneath the current enforcement directives updated for this year, reinstatement is only tied to a financial tier when you wager on other sports or the pros. Any bet that was made under $200 requires going to rules education mandated by the NCAA. Any bet between $201 and $500 results in Brendan Sorsby losing 10% of his season. Any bet over $800 incurs a 30% loss of his season. And if you wager on your own school or team, it's simple, Isaiah. Permanent loss of collegiate eligibility in all sports. What you really think that any franchise out there, forget the Jets for like 30 seconds, would any franchise, NFL, indoor football, UFL, CFL, why would you want to take a gamble on this guy, literally and figuratively?
Because I've seen worse. Because I've seen teams take a chance on people that are worse.
Not
I just
Isaiah,
hate it.
not Isaiah, where we're at right now, where gambling has infiltrated everything. You cannot go down this path. When you have all these advertisers, you have to appease when it comes to gambling.
I hated how Isaiah just kept saying, but he's young. We all make mistakes. But the rules are the rules, basically.
Sorry, Isaiah, rules are rules for a reason. So if you actually are an ASU student, you better not be betting on the Sun Devils. You're going to be kicked out of a school.
That would be great.
But I'm not a student athlete, though.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
All
I'm not
right.
a student athlete.
You're not a student at all. Let's
Paying
get
for
to
a soccer
the
class. Can't even do it right still.
Works
NHL segment. The Edmonton
Not
Oilers.
a hand signal, Isaiah, for the last damn time.
I didn't even look. The Edmonton Oilers hired Mike Baaaacck as their new head coach. It kind of shocked some Oilers fans out there. I was watching some fan, and he was mentioning like, "Oh, this is awful," because he's just going to add to the dysfunction that they already have with their best players. And Baaaacck, he's coming from a couple of places in which things weren't as good as they were, especially with the whole Columbus.
Isaiah,
Blue
his name
Jackets
is
program.
not Mike Backpack, you moron.
So, Callan, let's go to you first since you're the Mr. Hockey. Mike Baaaacck, remember him from what? Detroit, the Ducks, I want to say.
The 03 Mighty Ducks, the time in Detroit, elsewhere. This is very much a slippery slope too, that this hire has been made. And, we can talk, touch base about the Joel Quenneville hiring with the Ducks or, other things that have propped up. I made a brief mention on my show last Tuesday about how the Hurricane fans were chanting no means no towards Carter Hart the entire Stanley Cup playoff run for what had gone down with the Hockey Canada 5 of 2018 with that whole entire very ugly situation. This one, though, guys, is a little bit troublesome because this was more about a lot of former players, even Paul Bissonnette, tough guy, as tough as they made him, even questioning why would you want to hire a bully of a head coach who had a track record when he got hired by the Columbus Blue Jackets 3 years ago, where he was like invading the privacy of players by wanting them to pull up photos off their phone's camera roll and put them on the screen as part of like a team building exercise. And a lot of players, I heard some commentary from Biz Nasty. There was a very startling comment made by Daniel Winnick, who played for the Leafs and played for the Ducks at one point and played underneath Baaaacck. And he said, this guy made me lose my love for the game of hockey. And Winnick was a 10-plus year player, wasn't, really that well known. And, Connor McDavid can try to, deflect and say, hey, we like the challenge of wanting to be kind of pushed around here by a coach who knows what he's doing. Is that what you need, though, when you've had so many playoff collapses of getting to the finals but losing to Florida 2 years in a row, bombing out against the Ducks this year and couldn't keep up with that young core that we have or that's been built in Anaheim? That, is this, more importantly, is this a last-ditch effort to keep McDavid semi-happy? And I'm not, honestly, though, guys, surprised that what you may have heard from Oiler fans who are like, this is not the right way to go about trying to get this team back up to snuff. There's the very big news out there of Darnell Nurse winning a trade out of Edmonton, feeling like, hey, I'm past my prime, maybe. It's getting old playing here. So, you can try to spin this one way or another, but I don't know if it's a right look for a team trying to get back to winning a Stanley Cup for the first time since the mid to late 80s when they had Gretzky and Messier. But I don't know. That whole Columbus story was very chaotic. It was out of control. He got fired, guys, before he even coached a game in the regular season. Like, this happened over the course of a summer. He came in with that iron fist mentality. And I had seen Mike coach, though, up close in 2003, with Paul Kariya and the Mighty Ducks from afar. But, I went back and rewatched the documentary about that 02-03 team that went to the Cup final but lost to New Jersey. Boy, back then it may have been more acceptable, James and Isaiah, for the mentality of like, hey, I don't want any Globetrotter shit. Put the puck in the net, no fancy play. do everything right, execute, do it right, and how he was very bombastic and loud and out of control. That may have worked, guys, 20, 25 years ago when I first got into hockey, but now not necessarily that style works. I think, I think that Joel Quenneville may have, in a way, got himself back on track with where he's at with Anaheim, and that some of the older, rough on the edges coaches maybe have done a great job with that whole thing. But you also wonder how, that about the bad look, though, when the fan base, as James kind of said, though, they're not fully on board. Now, of course, you'll be having, the players on board with it. But if the fan base isn't fully sold on it, I wonder if this becomes another like Jay Woodcroft or Chris Knobloch situation where you make the big splashy hire, but it doesn't work out well. And again, you can try to, spin Connor McDavid's, thoughts about, hey, we need a guy to kind of push us around, though. But I think, guys, it's bad that former players have spoken out about how Babcock's tactics have been when it comes to the bully mentality, how he, I think I read a story, James and Isaiah, that he, I think, forced a guy back into playing after he sprained an ankle and he couldn't really walk on the ankle. There was also some talk that Babcock had a propensity to even like hold players out before they reached like contract incentives or like 1,000 career games played or Ironman streaks. Like there's a lot of other petty stuff, though. I think the turning point for me, though, was when Babcock went to Columbus and never got out of the summer window and got out of the preseason, where, again, there was some reports, guys, and very damning stuff came out of Columbus that players did not feel comfortable having their one-on-one meetings with Babcock when they would go into his office because it was just one-on-one, and Babcock wants to see photos off your camera roll from your phone. Like, that is a very big-time major invasion of privacy, and that did not fly, and obviously that led to the Blue Jackets canning him, and they hired Pascal Vincent, who was coaching, I think, in the AHL in Manitoba at that time for the Jets organization. So, I mean, I don't really know how to feel about it. I mean, I know that Mike did his time. I actually got to see Mike a couple times in San Diego because his son, Mike Jr., was actually an assistant coach here in San Diego. And Mike was actually a very nice guy to see after games. He would say hi to you all the time. So nice guy, though. But does the coaching philosophy of the past, I think Isaiah may have made that point, though, about like the old school mentality, like a Pat Riley system, for example, will that translate with the current day player where you really can't enforce discipline? You really can't be too tough on the guy because then they'll want to, get traded out of town. But I think that some of the other stuff, though, that's popped up, though, on the radar involving his time in Anaheim in 2003, how that saw Paul Kariya leave the franchise to go to Colorado to play with Teemu Selanne in 2004. He had the success in Detroit, though, but how he kind of left there, though, too. I think he went to Toronto at one point and how he left there as well. That there's a lot of blips on the radar, fellas, but I don't know if I can fully excuse Photogate of 2023 with, I want to see what's on your phone, what's on your camera roll. Like, show me your wife and kids. Like that right there is a little bit awkward, creeper status, Young status when it comes to female hosts on other networks. So I want to give him a chance. Because I know, that people did the same thing about, well, what about Quenneville and Anaheim? Well, I mean, yeah, he served 3 years of trying to do the right thing when it came to sexual misconduct and harassment, which is what the guy in box we should be doing as well when it comes to that sort of task at hand as well. But I'm very iffy on this. And I think, though, guys, if this goes sideways early in the year, see ya. Hate to
That's
say
what
it.
I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Maybe already in training camp, there's going to be rumors. There's going to be McDavid and mispractices, and boom, here we go. Isaiah, try to have a rebuttal on that. I learned so much, honestly. I didn't know that about Mike Babcock, but go on ahead, Isaiah.
This is an awful hire, honestly.
You were just praising it a couple days ago because you called it and got it right.
Well, no, I called it that he was going to be the coach because the NHL is like the NFL. Like, they don't care what you do off the field or off the ice. Look at Joe Quenneville and then look at Mike Babcock. If you win,
but again, Isaiah, Quenneville used the 3 years to go and do work in the community for sexual assault victims, unlike you.
Yeah, well, I'm not a coach in the NHL. Although if I was a coach in the NHL, I think I would be great. But in terms of this, as my two co-hosts, where are they? I mean, they're just, I don't know where they are. I think this is an awful hire just because, like, this guy, forget the off the ice stuff. he hasn't coached in 5 years. So you're bringing him in, even though he hasn't coached in 5 freaking years. Like, in 5 years, the game has transformed to a better state than it's been. I mean, you got new offensive systems, you got new defensive systems, new coverages. You've got me becoming a hockey fan now, even though I never thought I would ever follow the sport. But it's like, this guy hasn't coached in 5 years. He's going to run a dinosaur system. And like, this is just, like you said, Callum, this is a last ditch effort to keep Connor McDavid happy and to keep Connor McDavid in Edmonton and try to win something there, knowing your team, your roster. It's just reached the ceiling. It's plateaued, and it's just all downhill ever since then. This is like Doc Rivers going to the Milwaukee Bucks. It was just to keep the superstar happy, hire a big name. Let's try to get some tickets. That's what this is. I mean, like, this is just a weird, bizarre move because he's just going to be antique. He's going to be old. You talk about the stuff that is off the ice. Hopefully he's changed. I don't know how it goes, but I know Connor McDavid said that, it's great that we need, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said that, we need to be tougher mentally and stuff like that. Like, I hope this works out, but I think this is going to be a disaster for the Edmonton Oilers. Forget the coach. The roster is going to be a disaster. McDavid's going to want out. I mean, he might not be, James, he might not be the only Connor that wants out, at the trade deadline in the NHL next season. I mean, or this upcoming season. So those are some things to watch out for. But as a Sharks fan, not worried because let's face it, we're going to run the Pacific Division and the Western Conference and the NHL for years to come.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe so. All right, let's get to the MLB segment.
Or Matthew Shea.
Hopefully not. Let's get to our team reports in the MLB. I guess I'll start off with me, yes? The Angels at 34-48 are 7 games back in last place. Seattle leads the A's by a game and a half. Houston and Texas are 2 back. I wish I was there. But the Angels again in 7th or last place, 7 games back, 5-5 in the last 10. They did take 2 out of 3 against the Baltimore Orioles, and Taylor Ward came back in left field to play for Baltimore. And right away, his first at bat, he hits a home run. So of course Taylor does that. But in the end, the Angels get some crazy walk-off wins. On Wednesday it was crazy. The Orioles threw the ball around on that last. No, he barely hit the. Shawnee Well barely hit the ball.
Yeah, it was a check swing. And you know what's crazy? Why did the catcher
He panicked. He just panicked. That's all.
Why did he go into why didn't the pitcher cover home plate? Is my my biggest.
He also panicked too because it was it was going to be the third out. So usually they don't run anywhere. They just assume the play's going to happen.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but could the catcher have maybe instead of diving, could he have maybe ran forward to try to tag the runner out or on that play?
Yeah. But Shawnee Well just went wide. I thought he ran out of the baseline.
Oh, true.
Well, he did. But maybe the catcher just, stuck out his glove. And I thought he ran out of the baseline. I thought they were going to call that. And there would have been extra innings. Oh, by the way, the wild card, the Angels are 6 back along with 3 other teams. They're just 2 games above Boston, which is last in the American League. So that's how the Angels are somehow not really in it for the division, but that's the only way they can possibly get in. I can't believe I'm even saying that. But Mike Trout continues to be on the IL with a hamstring injury. That might be a longer miss, but they did interview him during the game, and he was saying the hamstring is doing okay. He's just working out. It's just, saying the basic stuff. What else can I tell you? I don't know much else. But, so I can tell you this. Artie Moreno, the owner of the Angels, publicly said that the Angels are not going to be trading any of their pieces away, which just pissed off everybody. Not only Angel fans and Angel people, but around the majors, because who wouldn't want to Reed Detmers right now? Or, a Joe Adele, or maybe someone else on the trade radar, and already just said, nope, we're going to go with who we have, and maybe they'll try to make a run. Maybe they'll add, who knows? But when you're 7 out of out of first place in last place, you're not really in it, in my opinion. So the Angels right now, they will host I'm trying to remember, the A's. That's right. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend. I should be at Sunday's game. We'll see if that's the case. And then to run out June, they will go up to Seattle for hosting Boston on the 4th of July weekend, which they're actually home for, which is the first time in forever. So I don't know what you want me to say. I think Artie's just screwing the team up again even more, and not being not having those guys getting traded away, I think will hurt the team in the long term if it hasn't already. There's one player that's really stuck out, Denzel Guzman. He's the third baseman of the Angels for now, and he's been showing some power. He's been showing some great hitting, some clutch hitting too. He won a game up in Sacramento for the A's on that Sunday. So they took 2 out of 3 they split a 4-game series with the A's before the Baltimore series. Lost 2 out of 3 in Arizona for that road trip. All right, who should I go with the baseball teams? I guess I'll go Isaiah with the Phillies and the Rangers. Both are in the wild card running, I guess you could say.
Let's start out with some positive before we get to the negative stuff. The Philadelphia Phillies, James and Callan, I don't know if you can hear me, Callan, but the Philadelphia Phillies, you know how before we let go of Rob Thompson, we just couldn't win any series? Well, we turned it around, and we just cannot stop winning series now. We keep winning series after series after series. This team is like the team of destiny. I mean, down with our final strike against the Nationals, down by, I believe it was 5 runs. The Phillies in the 9th inning came back against a just awful Nationals bullpen, and they scored 8 runs in the 9th inning. James, I don't know if you saw that, but it was one of the greatest comebacks in baseball history. It was just so much fun to watch. JT Realmuto has finally shown signs of life. Trey Turner, Bryson Stott, after the firing of Thompson, he's finally showing signs of life. Schwarber is looking like the best hitter in baseball this season. Harper's doing his thing. And then the next day, they were down in their final strike again, down by, I believe, 1 run. Derek Hill launches a 2-run homer, and the Phillies all of a sudden have the lead. And then now tonight, the Phillies were just down 5-2. And in the 7th inning, they've scored 3 runs and they've tied it. It's now 5-5. So the Phillies are just the team of destiny, guys. Like, this is a team that I think that, I mean, I know our pitching staff with Luzardo, with Sanchez, with Wheeler, they've been outstanding. The back end, though, with Nola and Andrew Painter, who was demoted, by the way, down to AAA. I know, James, you mentioned him as your Rookie of the Year candidate. You want to say anything? Any rebuttal about that, by the way, on Painter?
Whoops.
But, yeah, I mean, the thing with Painter is, like, I feel like the pressure just got to him because, James, you know this. Like, whenever
he's not fully developed yet for the majors, his fastball isn't fast enough, and then his breaking stuff is not anything to stay up with the major.
Right. And that's the thing is when you're a pitcher and you're a young pitcher and you're thrust into like this pressure pack situation and you have to perform and you just keep losing and losing and losing, it just spirals. So I think for him going down to AAA will be a good reset for him. I still think he's very talented, and I think that he's going to eventually come back up to the bigs and be a big time contributor for the Phillies. But the Phillies, man, they look just like the team of destiny, from the bullpen with Duran in the back end, the offense just lighting it up late in games, coming back. Maybe it's the Nationals, but yeah, the Phillies are just, they're just coming back, and I think they definitely need a couple starting pitchers, maybe Sonny Gray, like I have in MLB The Show. Maybe Sonny Gray at the trade deadline, who knows? But that would definitely be a great piece to add. But as far as the Rangers are concerned, I mean, this team is the baseball team definition of they can't take their heads out of their ass. They take 2 steps forward, they take 2 steps back. I mean, like they just took 2 out of 3 from the San Diego Padres, and that wasn't even a shot. I was just telling it like it is. Wyatt Langford became the mayor of San Diego in that series.
Get on with it, Stu. Let's go.
But yeah, I mean, the Rangers, it's just inconsistency. They hit sometimes, they can't pitch, and then when they can pitch, they can't hit. I mean, they just lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins in Miami against that woeful pitching staff. The offense looked pathetic. Wyatt Langford, I guess he's the bright spot. He's scorching hot. He's hitting like 450 ever since he came back from the injured list. He's truly looking like that MVP that I picked at the beginning of the season. He had another home run just now against the Blue Jays. He's scorching hot. Seager's not doing anything. Maybe some team will try to take him at the deadline. Who knows? And then, the bad news is when it rains, it pours. Jack Leiter out until August, arthroscopic ankle injury. He's going to have surgery. I think, James, can you tell the viewers, I think you told me like Leiter suffered that against Pittsburgh. Was it like I think he suffered that injury against Pittsburgh diving to try to get someone out at home plate. I've been very disappointed in him because I picked him to win Cy Young, and he's just gone.
Never going to be better than Michael King. My goodness gracious.
But yeah, that's the bad part. But the Rangers just so inconsistent. They're only in there because the Mariners suck. The A's can't hold a lead to save their lives. The Angels are the Angels, sadly. And the Astros got off to a really bad start. They're just on the downswing of things. So, hey, we're still in the division race.
Oh,
James,
man.
Go ahead, Callan, with the Padres.
Yeah, I mean, biggest stretch of a season, and you're staring down the barrel of maybe the season going down Niagara Falls because you had Atlanta come in for 3, then the big bad Dodgers come for 3. You got to go to Chicago, then you come back, or you go to Chicago, then go for 4, I think, in LA. Then you had Arizona and Toronto at home to end the first half of the season. Somehow, some way, with all of their problems, all of the El Paso call-ups and JP Sears, the Padres sweep Atlanta at Petco this week, including me being there on Wednesday, and somehow may have got the ship back on the right track somehow after, a very awful 4-5 road trip where they won a series in Baltimore, couldn't overcome St. Louis. We're playing like home run derby in Arlington at that ballpark as well over the course of the weekend, with how it was, Homer Palooza for both teams in, that first game where it was 6-5 after 1 inning of play. And then it's Machado winning the game in game 2. And then game 3, it comes down to, the longstanding problems of not being able to hit with runners in scoring position. And you're staring on the barrel, though, fellas, of a homestand that looks on paper like if you get swept in both of these series, you're done for the year and you're going to enjoy the lockout next season. But somehow this team is able to. They have owned the Braves. I think there was a few stats I saw from AJ Cassavell that dating back to the 2024 wild card round, the Padres have won 9 straight games versus Atlanta at Petco Park, which includes the four game sweep that James and I were at last year to end the first homestand of the season, and then 3 more here in June. And that was all, though, fellas, based off of a Machado homer on Monday that they won 1-0. They fall behind 4-0 on Tuesday. Griffin Canning's been a very much train wreck to watch on the mound, so I think he's going to be gone pretty soon. But then, though, something that the Padres have not done a lot of. They fall behind 4-0. They score 5 in a row after they fall behind. Then, of course, they give up the lead. Then they get a game-tying homer from Tatis Jr. to dead center field, and then Machado walks it off. Then Wednesday, because of the rash of pitching injuries, they call up JP Sears. Masterful first start, though. 5 2/3. The only blemish was that deep homer hit by Joey Bart to left field. And the Padres had enough offense, though, to, from the Ty France homer that he clobbered to deep left field. And somehow, though, you sweep the Braves, who have had one of the best records in baseball. Now you get the off day today, and then here come the guys from up north, who you played very well the first 3 games against them. You lost, 2 games by a measly, by a couple of runs. And because one game you got shut out because Ohtani hit a leadoff homer and then pitched lights out. So even then, though, fellas, you got to do something here. I mean, you've got to win this series somehow, and then you got to go play 4 in Chicago. And it's never easy for the Pods to go win at Wrigley, as you saw during the playoffs last year. Then you got to go to LA finally for the first time all year over the 4th of July weekend. And I was really of the belief, honestly, if this homestand would have gone sideways, as I said, if they would have maybe got swept by the Braves, lost 2 out of 3, then you have to play the Dodgers 7 times in 2 weeks. The year could have been over, especially having to go and play the Cubs in Wrigley, where the Cubs already won 2 out of 3 back in April. And right now, the NL wild card is such a slog right now. It's pathetic, where everybody is alive and well somehow. But, I mean, I'll give these guys credit, man. I know that Craig Stammen gets a lot of flack from Box 3, but, I mean, he has been beyond willing, though. And I wrote this actually in a Substack back in May that Isaiah never reads my content anyway, that Stammen has been more acceptive, I think, to changing the lineup around when guys aren't producing, and I know they've had to put Fernando Tatis Jr. at second base a couple of times because of Cronenworth having the concussion symptoms. He's going to finally go do a rehab stint down in El Paso this week, from what I heard today from the Chihuahuas. And then you call up Samad Taylor, you call up Jace Bowen. Now, Bowen's a bit overmatched at the plate, though, but Samad Taylor, this guy had a 12-game hitting streak after he got called up, fellas. I mean, he had a 3-hit game on Monday, and he's played great defense, and he's been like a leadoff hitter. He's been a 2-hitter. He's been a 9-hitter. He's been a guy that's been doing it all. Now, is that sustainable, though, for a whole rest of the year? Doubtful, because I think they're, because guys will start to figure him out, though. And then you've got all that. You've got the woes with the starting pitching staff still, with Randy Vasquez walking people, Michael King having his best outing of the year, again, against the Braves, much like the 2024 wildcard game I was at, where he shoved that day. I think it was within 1 strikeout of tying Peavy's record for single-game strikeouts. And then somehow, though, Walker Buehler's been your your third best starter. Randy Vasquez had a good run there. Then he's kind of hit a wall, though. Giolito's on the IL now. You're hoping to get a lot of the arms back, though. I've heard some rumblings from Padre beat writers. Pivetta and Musgrove are now doing long toss, but still like a long ways away. Bullpens have their problems, though. I think they've been overused too much, though, because they've come into so many high-pressure situations involving the fact of there's guys on base, and you have to get out of a jam, only up by a run late in the game. And, Jason Adam has looked a little bit, human this year. Miller, Mason Miller's been great still. Again, 2 full innings thrown, though, on Tuesday, away from him having the save, though, on Monday, and he still has been nails, since the Padres got him, last season from the Athletics. So far, I'd say it's so far so good. But, of course, when you have to face the Dodgers, fellas, whether you're a Padre fan or a fan of every team not named the Padres or the Angels, you have to be on your A game, and you still have to find a way to take these guys down. And at least right now, it's a good starting point, though, winning the first 3 games of his homestand. But now, can you at least pull out 2 out of 3 here against the Dodgers before you have to go on the road and face the Cubs in Chicago, and then you got to go up and play 4 in LA over the 4th of July weekend? I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. This is a good starting point, though. But now you got to be on your A game this weekend.
So basically, what Colin mentioned, it goes week by week with the San Diego Padres.
It's actually more like day by day, because they can win
day by day with the game.
They get shut out, or they lose a game by a run because they can't pitch, they can't hit, they can't do this, and then finally here after that loss on Sunday, 3 straight wins. It's crazy.
Yeah, that loss on Sunday, I was watching, and all the air came out.
But even then, but I'll tell you guys this, though. That's been like a microcosm. If you've watched the Padres all year, like I have, is that you get a rally going, and then you got 3 straight outs to end the inning. Like, that's just been their DNA this whole year, and a lot like 2023.
If you like randomness, you like the San Diego Padres.
Yes, if you're for chaotic baseball, you watch the Padres.
That series in Texas was fun, though. I'll tell you that.
No, I mean, just with home run after home run after home run, like, good Lord, this is like Arizona Junior that we're playing at here in Arlington.
So let's get to our last topic with MLB. I don't think it's the beginning of the fire sale, in my opinion, Isaiah, but they do trade their left-handed pitcher starter David Peterson to the Chicago Cubs for the New York Mets. He goes to the Cubs, and I think they get an infielder in return only from that. This is a team, of course, yesterday that had 6 errors. The New York Mets, they're what, 18 games?
Pussies.
Who's that guy? Mike something Italian. That dude is awesome on YouTube. His rants or whatever. I forget his last name, but he just goes off on this ball club. And this ball club, by the way, I think are 16 games out of first or under 500. So many games.
And have one of the top payrolls in baseball, and Isaiah picked them to win the NL East this year.
Oh, that's right. And that picture, Isaiah,
Really?
that's perfect. That's every day.
Don't think
I
I
jinxed the
forgot.
Mets.
Don't forget I forgot, sir.
All my picks have already gone down the sledgehammer, dude. Like lighter winning side.
Sledgehammer.
Shoot.
Sledgehammer.
Stephen Lee. So with the Mets, Isaiah, I'm trying to think who else would go in trade talks, but would anybody even want Freddie Peralta in his high ERA? I think it's under almost 7, I want to say, his ERA.
Here in San Diego, because we have the best pitching coach in baseball who can get him back on track, in Ruben Nieva.
That is true, but how much would you have to give up? But you're not going to
F them prospect, baby.
you can't really trade Lindor. You don't. Soto's untouchable.
Oh,
So they don't have
Boba yeah. He's gonna opt out too, so might as well.
So a lot of players not wanted, but I guess this is the first in maybe some moves that the Mets will make. But David Peterson, what do you think he'll bring to the Cubs? I know everyone needs starting pitching help. I forget the man that they had. He got hurt last year in Arizona. He was an all-star, young starter. Like David Steele was his name. I cannot remember that dude's name right now, but he's been out with the injury for the whole year, basically, or last year and this year. But they always need some starting help, and the Cubs get that, Isaiah.
Yeah, not a surprise. Cubs needed starting pitching in the worst way. All their starters are really hurt right now, or just inconsistent. So, I mean, the games that I've watched David Peterson pitch, he's been solid. He's solid left-hander, but I think he's more of a guy that he is you need an opener in front of him, and then he can pitch innings 2 all the way until 7 is where he can pitch. His first inning has been a bust in every game or in a lot of the games that he's pitched this year. So I'm surprised the Mets actually were able to deal him and get some prospects back in return. But you talk about the Mets and who they could get or who they could trade. Sean Manaea, I'm thinking maybe Manaea, Freddie Peralta, because of Devin Williams, Luke Weaver.
No. See what I'm saying? It's
but it's pitching though. Teams need pitching.
The bunny has the gun. No.
Bo Bichette, you're probably gonna have to trade him. I wouldn't mind Bo Bichette in Texas, honestly, because we need a second.
How about
baseman.
in Philly though? How about him? Yeah, how would he do in Philly?
Booed like hell in that Phillies Mets series. Yeah, but how about not signing in Philly, Bo? How is that working out for you, Mr. Bichette?
He would have been bad anywhere. His numbers are on the decline.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered where he signed. He's been awful the whole year.
So Peterson with a 3-6 record, his ERA over 6. Callan, how do you think he's gonna do with the Cubs here? Can they change him up a little bit? Can they make him somehow not fall to that Wrigley Field win factor if it blows out?
Let's all sing along, fellas. Beat the Mets. Beat the Mets. Step right up and beat the Mets.
Beat the Mets.
I mean, maybe that they might be able to change him just a little bit in where he's at, though. I mean, I mean, it's been terrible to see how Peterson's just fallen off the face of the earth, though. But I mean, I have no sympathy for the Mets. They spend and spend and spend. They don't do shit. There you go.
Yeah, it just seems that way. Also this year he started 8 games out of 16 he's appeared in, and 68 innings. 46 earned runs, 6 home runs given up, and 30 walks. Strikeouts at 63. So, and he's hit 3 batters as well. Just keep that in mind. Isaiah, we have the World Cup coming up. Well, there's been games going on all day. Ecuador moves
Go
on along
Steves!
with Coast Ivory or Ivory Coast and Germany. I think they all moved on from Group D, was it, or B? I'm trying to remember. But we have USA coming up playing whom, Callan?
Turkey.
Turkey, and it's been spelled
Turkey,
differently. That caught me off guard.
Turkey.
I'm that much of a casual where I'm like,
Turkey.
wait, Turkey.
It's
I'm
like
gonna call that.
Czechia, not the Czech Republic.
I'm gonna call that at Thanksgiving. I'm gonna say Turkey at work.
Turkey.
Just to get everybody confused.
I always struggle with the Cote d'Ivoire or whatever, that country with the white, green, and orange flag.
Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast.
No, you don't say it like that though. You say it like
it's
like
the French pronunciation. It's just Ivory Coast.
Oh, because we at work we have all these like flags of each country in the World Cup, and then it says the Cote. I was like, what is the Cote d'Ivoire?
The Ivory Coast.
Ivory
Even I knew that.
Ivory Coast in French.
Yeah. So we have that.
Not the Czech Republic, and it's Turkey, not Turkey, and it's Cape Verde or Cabo Verde, and it's Curacao or Caraco.
That is awesome. By the way,
Qatar, too.
Have to give our thoughts out to Venezuela. They had a couple of strong earthquakes, and we know people have died and people have got injured, and it's just Mother Nature basically, and it can strike anywhere. So I'm on high alert. Isaiah, I guess you want to end the show because that game's coming up very soon.
Yeah, I'll give a couple final thoughts before I go to Callan, but I think a couple final thoughts I do have is, first of all, ESPN let a great one leave in Dave Fleming. Gonna miss him on ESPN. James, be quiet. I know you know what I'm talking about.
That video you made, Isaiah, that video you made of him, and I woke up this morning, I'm like, did he pass away or something? That was like legit sadness. Yeah, and then I looked up on Google. I'm like, no, he just left ESPN. Why is Isaiah acting like it's a funeral?
Don't scare the general population like that. Come on, Fu.
I misworded it, but yeah, Dave Fleming did a great job.
No, your emotion was too emotional.
Oh yeah, because
the fake tears are such a sell job. Oh my god.
He was I listened to him on college basketball, Pac-12 after dark games, Mountain West game. Yeah, with did he do games with Bill Walton? I feel like he did.
Like I said, whenever Dave Pasch was busy with the Arizona Cardinals on the East Coast or Midwest, Fleming would come in to do the Saturday games, and then if Pasch had to do Thursday night Cardinals games, then Fleming would come on if it wasn't Roxy Bernstein. Or not Bernstein.
Roxy Bernstein.
Not Roxy Bernstein, but the other Roxy. Oh God. And the 49er announcer too. Oh, I have all these guys. I have all these announcers in my head, their names, but Roxy Bernstein, isn't that his name?
Yes.
Young dude? Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be weird not seeing Fleming on ESPN because you saw him for like everything basically. I know he does the Giants, but he kind of wanted to shorten his workload, so it makes sense. Plus, I think he's doing NBC Sunday leadoff for their baseball coverage. Yes, but it's gonna be crazy because I always thought Fleming would eventually leave the Giants and go do ESPN full time, and maybe be the voice of Sunday Night Baseball. But after they lost that, it's like, yeah, we don't really have any more use for you. But ESPN, they let a great one leave. NHL draft is tomorrow. Sharks are about to run this league with Avar Stenberg and Macklin.
No, they're not, Fu.
3 first-round picks. Maybe Matthew Schaefer, maybe Connor Bedard. Who knows? Connor McDavid.
No and no.
Looking forward to the draft. A lot of intrigue there. Blackhawks doing some dumb stuff as we get closer to the draft. And give me Brian Wood of Philadelphia, most underrated pitcher in the American League. I'll say
You really
that.
want him after his start yesterday where he got clobbered by the freaking Pirates?
Hey, people have bad games. That's
the Pirates offense.
Yeah, I watched him against the Orioles. He was great.
Yeah, he lost the no-hitter because of you freaking jinxing it, Foo.
But yeah, those are my final thoughts.
Callan, do you have any final thoughts or promotion?
Yeah, on the somber note, thoughts and prayers to former big league executive and press row guest on Empty the Bench, David Sampson, who formally announced that his daughter passed away from a lengthy battle with cancer over the course of the last couple days. David, again, we all remember him from his days with the Expos and the Marlins. David joined our show with myself and Nick Morgeson to talk about baseball, where the economics of the game were at, in his WNBA commentary. And he even said that, I usually don't make appearances on podcasts. You guys are the exception to the rule, because I've been going between the city and between New York and where I live elsewhere to take care of my daughter. And David made the announcement early yesterday morning on Tuesday that his daughter had passed. They've already raised over $50,000 for research for the brain cancer that she succumbed to, and the wave and emotion of everybody out there giving their thoughts and prayers to the family. So again, major love and respect for Mr. Sampson. Again, I know he gets very much a bit of a bad rap because he works for Meadowlark Media and does work with Pablo Torre, but also about his time with the Expos and the fire sales with the Marlins, though. But he's also a human being, folks. And, David was very public about his daughter's battles. He even, I think, reshared a video from November of last year where he had shaved his head and grew his beard out in honor of his daughter with what she was going through. So wishing the Sampson family nothing but the best because of what they've gone through over the last 24 hours.
I did not know about that. And anything else on ETB coming out, Callan, that we should be looking for?
Tonight, a good friend of ours, Trevor Williams, and myself will be recapping Team USA Turkey from LA Stadium in Inglewood, California on ETB tonight. We'll also recap the last couple days of the group stage on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. for Empty the Pitch, and then we'll get to the ETB Lounge on Sunday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Then we'll do it all over again on Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's where I'm at.
My goodness.
4 days.
It is busy time with the World Cup. Any predictions with the Turkey and USA game tonight?
Yeah, the lineup or the starting 11 just came out. Kristen Pulisic is available but not starting, and I did not see any players who are on yellow card accumulation in the lineup who are not going to play, probably because you cannot risk a yellow card and have someone get suspended for that next game next Wednesday evening, which right now all the projections show Bosnia would be the Team USA opponent for that first knockout stage game, I believe in Seattle next Sunday night or Wednesday night.
Wow.
That all can change, though, guys. But there's still 2 more days of the torture of 6 games over the course of the day. So a lot to still play for here. Even if Team USA does not win, they've already got the group in the top spot in the group, so they're going to be fine. But a win here, though, would be nice to fully clear the group out, get all 9 points, get in, though, not get in there without any issues regarding yellow cards or injury factors. I'll be tempted to see, though, how long Poach keeps Pulisic in the game if he does come in at any point. But I would probably think second half he'll probably play for maybe, I'd say, 15 or 20 minutes. I don't know about that. But not a lot to play for, though. But you still want to go out there and win and try and get all 9 points and have a good little springboard into the knockout round come Wednesday night.
That's what I wondered, if they're treating it like an exhibition game because there's more important stuff on the horizon. That's what I gathered from it.
Go Team USA. Go Team Swiss, too.
Yeah, I really haven't gotten a chance to see the full lineup. And Isaiah, shut up. You're rooting for Canada, who never won a game in the World Cup until this year. There you go.
I'm rooting for Swiss.
Let me try and see what the lineup reads here. So, for those who are wondering, Matt Turner is going to be in goal tonight. So, Matt Freese is off for Game 3. Austin Trusty, Gio Reyna, Weston McKinney is going to wear the captain's armband. Ricardo Pepi, Brendan Aronson, Miles Robinson, Sebastian Berhalter, Tim Weah, Mark McKenzie, and Joe Scally. So, yes, every player who's on a yellow and Pulisic are not playing tonight.
Smart thing to do, I'm guessing.
Good
For
move.
me, final thought: just check out Heating Network for all your Angels news. Why the hell would you want that? But I'll write for the
Don't do good
Substack.
shit, unlike Mr. Leung in box 2.
Check out what I write on the Heaty Substack, along with Callan's Substack as well. Mr. Small Market.
Substack, yes.
So it's easier to write than talk, at least for me, I guess. But yeah, I just wrote something about will the Angels make trades and who they should trade. And guess what? The next day already shuts it down. Great. That's just my luck there. But check out Heaty post-game shows, podcasts throughout the week, and after every game, check out the Top Fox post-game show. What else can I tell you about myself? It's hot. I've been enjoying the soccer action though, the football action.
Yes.
Actually, I love how the announcers, they're from other countries, so their terminology and the way they keep things real instead of trying to like say something but kind of fake it. There was something yesterday where somebody made a terrible play and they got a yellow card, and the way the announcer just said it, it was like personal accountability should be handed to that player.
Nothing will beat the Fox announcer who said that England has had problems in Boston before. Regarding 1776.
Jesus, I love that. So yeah, you're getting a different spin. Like if you're not used to watching European soccer or wherever else, I've been really enjoying the commentary. And then shout out to the referee today that was in the Ecuador game.
Close enough.
She kind of
Talk about mispronunciation.
I was looking at a map
because you can't say Antetokounmpo the right way.
Antetokounmpo.
Or Jonas. Or Madulin. You keep calling him Mussolini, you idiot.
Whoa. So the woman ref today, she had a
song back, Lee Young.
The woman ref today had a tough job out there, and all these referees with FIFA, man, they really control the game very well. I've noticed they don't allow like too much argument back. They listen and then they just wave them off. Basically, I kind of like that.
Yeah, go away.
Get in line or get in formation. We got to keep the game going.
Get out of my face. Get out of my DMs. You're nothing. Go away.
So I've been enjoying that part of the World Cup, like really getting to know like the tendencies of even the referees. I've been really enjoying that. So that's all I got. Cal and Isaiah, go ahead in the show, Isaiah.
Yeah, it's been a great show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Go watch the World Cup. Go watch the NHL draft because, I'll be tuning in. I'll be going live, by the way, from the SAP Center tomorrow afternoon when the Sharks are on the clock. So get ready to see either a wild celebration or a massive meltdown from yours truly tomorrow.
Hoping for the latter.
No. As we take over the league in the NHL and the ice world.
Not happening.
But until then, guys, we'll see you guys.
Never heard that before.
I got to Callan and James gotta get to oh my gosh. Ice World is hockey.
Iceland,
what?
Antarctica. Like I never heard Ice World referred to hockey before.
Only nimwits like him call it the Ice World.
Hey, I call San Diego Paradise Cove, though. I call San Diego
our nickname. It's called America's finest city for a reason.
But
or 619 or Dago.
You guys, Dago? What the? I've never heard of that.
Jeez.
But anyway,
from here, foo.
You need to get out more.
Hey, I'm gonna come down to San Diego maybe in a couple weeks. Who knows? But going to swim with dolphins at SeaWorld, by the way, for my birthday. Anyways, Callan and James got to get to watch the World Cup. Y'all got to watch the World Cup as well. I'm going to go and learn about soccer at my ASU class tonight, so I got to dip.
Why are you paying money for that when you can just watch the game on television on Fox?
Because I don't know soccer. I need to be educated about it.
Ron Strong and Stu Holden call the game. They can educate you that way, and it's free of charge.
Stu Gotts is calling the game. What the
I
hell?
said Stu Holden, you moron.
This is awful.
Oh my gosh. That's how we gotta end it. All right.
Bye.
Yeah. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night.